Hey guys, how are we doing? Thanks for joining me on another stream. Sunday this week, not Saturday. How's everyone doing out there? Very, very hot. I know I say it every single week, but it's very hot in Thailand at the moment. And the rainy season has officially started. So if you're coming out here soon, bring your brolly with you. Okay, right. Just say hi to everybody first, as always. Got a special guest a little bit later on. I think you know who that is. But this is becoming a habit now. Crypto Chris, first in. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Mazzo Brothers, second. Uncle Willie B, greetings from California. Mazzo Brothers, how you doing? I want to move to Thailand in 7 years when I'm 61. Is 250k euro enough? I need to survive 6 years without an income. That's always a difficult one to answer because only you know the sort of lifestyle you want to live. You can live on much less than that, but I would call it existing. It's a very different. I've done a few videos in the past on budgets and stuff. Maybe you can go back and have a look and get a better idea. Because I did one video recently where I talk about what I pay every month, how much I live on, and it depends where you live, of course. You know, helpful by the way, but it is one of the most difficult questions to answer. Get asked it all the time. How much do I need to live in Thailand? Jesse, how you doing over there in the States? Hello, Peter and everyone. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Do you know what? I forgot to do the currencies today. You know, normally I put the exchange currencies across the bottom. I forgot to do them. So you'll have to look your own up today. Glenn, how you doing? Glenn Hotspur. Good afternoon, Peter. I hope you and the missus are doing well. Yeah, we're a bit stressed out today that we've had a new canopy put across the front of the house, 25,000 baht. I uploaded it to Facebook. I don't upload the same videos to Facebook as I do YouTube, as you know. And it's finished. The structure's finished, but they need to come back and put some stuff underneath it. And we're going over to near Chatham tomorrow to a store called Wazadu. We're going to buy a remote control ceiling fan for the lounge, and we've got somebody coming to fit that in a couple of days. So yeah, we're trying to get the house just right. You know, I've had UV tint put over the windows to help with the sun, and the fan and the covering now, so we don't get the sun coming directly into the lounge. So we're getting there. I mean, when we first moved down here, we knew we had to buy air conditioners and we knew we had to buy furniture, but all the little extras, you know, I mean, they don't cost that much because it's Thailand, it's cheap. But you know, we've had to buy guttering on one side of the house. We had to install the hood. You know, now the ceiling fan, plus the bits and pieces like the canopy, and it's never ending. You know, but we'll get to the point where it's all done and the house is real nice. I mean, it's comfortable now, but it gets a bit hot in the afternoon. Tube 9230, top of the morning from Los Angeles. How you doing? Ronald, greetings from Perth. Nice to see you in, Ronald. Now, here's one I can't pronounce. Is it Orv Pibbs, is it? Greetings, Peter, from the US. How's the grass doing? Oh, they're murdering the grass at the front. I was nearly in tears today. They had scaffolding on my grass. No, I'll sort it out when they're gone. They should be done in a few days. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers over there in the United States. Apparently it's Mother's Day today. I don't know if I'm a bit early or a bit late, and I'm sure there aren't too many mothers who are in this stream, but if there are, happy Mother's Day. There you go. Paul, how you doing? Hello from Paul Burford, Toronto, Canada. Nice to see you in, Paul. Matthew Walcorn, how you doing? Hello, Peter. Looking forward to today's live. Me too. Thank you. What I might have to do today, I might, you know, I normally finish the stream at 9:30. I have a 15-minute break. Then I come back with a member stream because I've got a guest in tonight. I don't know how long he'll be in for. We're going to be reminiscing. He's been in Thailand a long time, like I have, okay, on and off. And so there'll be a few stories, a few laughs and stuff. But what I think I'm going to do today is instead of finishing this live stream at 9:30, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it carry on, but I won't do the members stream this week. I'll just, instead of ending at 9:30, I'll just let it continue and try and go as long as I can, you know, just to keep the flow going. Flubity, is it? Mazzo, you will survive 6 years, not necessarily thrive though. Okay, that's a question about the 250 euro. Chris there again. Big fella, how you doing? Good day to you, big fella. Be happy, Pat. Hi, everyone, here from a warm but grey north of France. I wouldn't really call it a show, though. More of a live stream, isn't it? Pravel, how you doing? Good to see you in the stream, mate. who's that? Paul Cannonball. Evening, Peter. Hope you're doing well. Did you start back on the Manjaro? Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be working. I'm on 5 milligrams now. I'm not hungry in the day. It works in the day, but at night I get very hungry. Not before I sleep. I don't eat before I sleep. Okay. Okay. Jesse, can we talk about the situation of Thais being too passive and not knowing things we would in the West? I pissed my wife off because I explained to her the cost of electricity in Thailand, and she felt, you run out of space there. There's a lot of cultural differences between Thailand and the West, as you know, and we have to learn to accept them if we're going to live here. I had a situation yesterday like this, which I couldn't understand. So basically, you know, my wife, my Thai girlfriend, she works in the hospital here. She's handed in a notice because we want to spend more time together. We want to go out to beaches, and, you know, we've got the dog now, so it kind of ties me down. I can only go out for 2 or 3 hours, then I have to come back. If she's here, she can look after him, and I can go out making videos. So she said to me yesterday, she said, don't you feel shy, Peter? When she says shy, she means a bit ashamed. She said, won't you feel shy in front of your friends? And I said, why? And she said, because I'm not working. And I said, no, of course not. I said, you're my girlfriend. I'll take care of you. And that's what we do in the West. Some women work, but a lot of women don't. You know, it's the Thais are expected, if they're physically fit, they're expected to work. And it's kind of shrugged, looked down on a little bit if she's kind of having a bit of a lazy life with me. But I tried to convince her and say, look, you know, I want you to not work. You know, don't worry about what other people think. But that's a cultural difference like you're talking about. Right. Max, Peter, I love your channel. Let's just close that down. Peter, I love your channel. I'm living in Phuket for 11 years. Been in my mid-30s, having so many stories to share. Wondering where to start. Please give me your opinion. Can share a roller coaster. Any story, you know, you can send it to me by email. There's my email address there. You can pause it and go back to it and write it down. Just start sending them in. And there's not many stories I don't read out. If people take the trouble to read stories, the only time I don't take stories on board, sometimes people will write to me and say, oh, I don't really like typing out a story. Let's meet for a coffee and I'll tell you what happened with this girl. And I always refuse, because doing it that way, you miss I'll get back, I forget the details. You know, when it's when the guy writes it out, I can just make sure it's YouTube compliant, check the spellings and everything, and read it, and it's exactly as he wants me to tell it. You know, if he just tells me over a coffee, I'm going to forget half of it. But yeah, send in what you've got and we'll have a look. Jessie, cheated by her old landlord because she got charged 10 baht per unit. I bet she was pissed off, yeah, because, you know, the electricity price here, and they're changing, they're going to put it on a tier system. The more electricity you use, the more you'll be charged. So lower income families, they're not going to be charged so much. That's what they're saying. But yeah, the government rate at the moment, and if I can remember, is like 4.5 baht a unit. That's what we would pay. It's cheaper here in Hua Hin, actually. That's in Bangkok. But that's when I made a video about things to check when you rent an apartment, especially in Bangkok, because that's what happens. If you sometimes if you pay the landlord, you need to ask the landlord who pays the electric, because if you pay the electric to the landlord without seeing a bill and he's charging 10 baht per unit, that's double the price of the electric. So I'm not surprised she was. I'd be pissed off as well. The Thai American, how you doing? Good evening from the ancient city. Oh, you're up in a youth here, I guess, then, are you? Ronald, who is your guest today? It's Bangkok Pat. I've spoken to him. I'll bring him in about 10 minutes or less. We'll just say hi to everyone first. Well, I haven't done a video with Pat for about 3 years, and he was in a live stream with me about 4 years ago. Long time. Alfreda Jim, good evening. How you doing, Jim? That was a great video you just sent me. I didn't have time with Starmer. I didn't have time to kind of write back to you. Ronald, what's that? Don't all well-to-do Thai families have maids? I can't imagine women who stay at home are looked down upon. Well, it depends what part of society you come from, doesn't it? You know, if you're high soul, what they call high soul, probably not, you know. But working class people, my girlfriend's comes from her sisters are farmers. You know, they're not in Isaan, they're in Lopbury. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of looked down on for not working. Yeah, not looked down on exactly, but they're kind of like, they'd look at her and say, well, she's able-bodied. Why doesn't she work? Why is she just hanging around? You know. But I said to her, look, we're in a house now. There's a lot of maintenance, a lot of work to do in the house. You know, you've got the dog, and everything. And I said, I want us to go out as a couple and enjoy Hua Hin, not you're stuck in the hospital and I'm here on my own. Carlos, your new canopy looks great. Peter just added you on my Facebook, and you have a beautiful house there. Thank you very much, Carlos. I appreciate that. Makes a change from the trolls. The bloke, morning everyone. Sean over there on Facebook. How you doing, Sean? I can't make it tonight. I'm at the Craft Week concert in Bangkok, then doing Autobahn now. Okay, hope you have a good night, Sean, and thanks for checking in with us. David, hiya, it's Dave from Adelaide. How's things going? Your sun canopy is coming along nicely. How big of a fan are you having outside? No, the fan's going inside, Dave. It's going to be in the center of the lounge, ceiling, just to try and. I've looked online at what would help, and a fan up on the ceiling. A few subscribers wrote to me and said they've got it. Okay, Bangkok Pat, and okay, right, okay. I can see Pat in the background there, so we'll bring him in 5 minutes. I've just read on it, on various forums, that if you have a fan in the ceiling, it does make a difference to the airflow in the room rather than a stand-up flat fan. So that's why we're going to Thai Wazadu tomorrow. Michael, hi Peter, another great chat. Are there types of expats living in Thailand which you avoid? I have met some real characters who are scams. Absolutely. I made a video six months ago about 20 toxic expats to stay away from in Thailand, and Pat, who I'm going to bring in shortly, Bangkok Pat, he's done similar. We'll ask him about that. That's a great subject. There's guys who are here in Thailand. Not most guys are okay, but there are guys here who they just bring you down. It's all negative stuff, and it's just they're always guys who've been here 2 months and they think they're experts on Thailand. All that sort of thing. Jessie again, roughly 45 baht per unit EMA rate. She's just thought Bangkok energy was more. She has no idea, and this is just something I feel is basic knowledge in the West. They don't seem to investigate. Yeah, I mean, like I say, cultural differences, isn't it? You can't, you just have to accept it or teach her. Glenn, I watch you on Facebook, and that canopy looks amazing, mate. Solid and well constructed. You must be well pleased. Well, I tell you what, I'm well pleased. It was 25,000 baht, which is about, I don't know, 580 pounds. That's going to be about 1,200 Australian dollars, 700 US dollars. In the UK, they would charge you 75 pounds just to come up and just to have a look at the wall, and then they'd be umming and erring it, and you'd have to make them a cup of tea, and they'd be telling you why it's going to be expensive. So yeah, I mean, I'm well pleased with it. Now, what's going on here? For some reason, the comments are going all light. Anders Bergman, hi Owen, hi Peter. Jim Default, good name, over there on Facebook. First time visiting live show, but I frequently visit your page. Love what you do and how you present it. Forget the trolls. Okay, thank you very much, Jim. Jesse, again, I'll bring Pat in, I think, shortly. Just a couple more. I think we're nearly there now. Bangkok Pat is the guest. Wow, that's cool. I really enjoy his videos. Not a fan of cats much, but I do appreciate the history. His recent Thailand Noi video was really good. Okay, well, he's sitting there. He'll have heard that, so that pleased him tonight. And I think I've said hello to everyone now. We've got nearly 200 people in. I think we'll bring. Are you ready, Pat? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's bring Pat in. And if you don't know Pat, he has his own channel. Welcome, Pat. When's the last time we did a stream together?
Oh, a long time ago. It must have been when I was still sort of starting, wasn't it? And I was on a couple.
Yeah.
And then it must be 4 years, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I hope you don't mind me telling everyone this story. When I first come across your channel, I was watching the videos and I thought, this guy's making really good videos. They're really well thought out, produced. And I was watching them and I thought, this guy's got to have 500,000 subscribers. And I went over and you had 1,600 subscribers. Do you remember? And now what are you up to now?
I think 60.3.
Right, yeah. Right. Do you get much? I mean, I get trolls, because of the sort of content I put out. Do you get the straight-laced stuff you put out? They're very good videos, actually. But do you get many people leave nasty comments, or is it all good comments because of the stuff you do?
I get people correcting me on pronunciations. They don't realize my, I'm anglicizing Thai for my viewers, so they say I say it wrong. I I don't engage them. It's mostly petty stuff, really. You do get the odd one who tries to get. Someone on Facebook said yeah, on the last video, said I looked like an effing idiot when I was doing something. And I thought, well, you've watched right up to like 35 minutes in to call me that. So, thanks for the view. But yeah, I don't, because of the nature of it, I don't get the wankers coming in. No.
Yeah, I find Facebook is worse than YouTube. I just find Facebook, you get so many people come in there and just vent their frustration, but it doesn't sort of bother me like it used to originally. But what about that question that somebody asked earlier? They said, are there certain sorts of people that you stay away from in Thailand? I know there's sort of people I stay away from, but I mean, how long have you been in Thailand now? Because you've been here a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, I've lived here in two parts. The first part was 2002 to 9. And I did meet lots of people, different types of people then, because I was in a different sort of era. This time has been since 2016, 17 until now. I did a video, the A to Z of Expat life, a couple of years ago. And I covered the kind of people you meet and the kind of people who annoy you or have these stereotypical sort of traits, and yeah, there are a lot of, I covered so-called experts who have been here 5 minutes who decide to start a channel and give everyone advice, and a lot of it is probably got from ChatGPT, and it's inaccurate, it's wrong, or it's just straight up narcissistic crap. I mean, there's a lot of that about on YouTube. I mean, I don't people say to me, why don't you cover this, or why don't you talk about the airport, 10 mistakes people make, why don't you walk around shopping malls for us, why don't you talk about visas or tourism. But I don't do trending topics. I don't chase, because I don't follow what other people are doing. I don't look clickbait stuff, because I don't want to be like a follower. Do you know what I mean? I'm not hoping to go viral just because someone says, "Oh, Pat, you should talk about this aspect of Thai society and all that stuff." You'll get thousands or hundreds of thousands of views if you do this. I'm not in it to do that. I'm in it to do pretty much what I want to do, and I've got a core of subscribers who are faithful, who watch what I do and enjoy it. The cats part of it, I know the guy said he's not into cats. I mean, you don't have to
trademark, really, isn't
it? Yeah. I've got this T-shirt that I'm selling because I've rescued a cat now. I've rescued our first cat, and all the money I get from the T-shirts that I make and sell is now going towards the cats. So
that's great. That's great. Yeah, it's really good. So I noticed because your videos do really well, don't they? When I put out videos, I mean, I've had several I've got one video that's done over 1 million views, which I put out about 5 years ago. But my average video will do anywhere between kind of 10 to 15,000, which I'm happy with. But I don't know why, when I make videos about restaurants or bars or a museum or something, they don't. I did one about the oldest golf club in Thailand. It's a Royal Golf Club here in Hua Hin. It's over 100 years old. It only got 1,500 hits. I was very disappointed with it, and it's very hard to know what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. But you've got consistency with your videos, and I particularly like the one on Washington Square, because I was here when Washington Square and Bourbon Street, the old Bourbon Street, was still there. I found that very interesting, and I was always hoping that you would do one on the history of Pat Pong, not necessarily. Did you do one?
Yeah.
Well, send me a link to it, because I've never seen that one. I'd like to see that. So if you've got any questions for Pat, if there's anything you'd like to ask him, sensible questions, you can ask him here, and we'll. I'll see what.
I think Pete, going back to you're saying those videos don't. I think what it is as well is I don't do videos that people don't expect me to do. Because I concentrate on exploring Bangkok and history and stuff. If I suddenly did a video about, a walkthrough of Icon Siam, people think, why the hell is he doing that? And they wouldn't watch it. There's still some people, not everyone watches the train stuff, but I've got, a group of people who do watch that. I think what your channel is known for is the stories, and I think in the last 18 months has been, I think people have come and gone with the AI stories. There's the other guy that does stories who seems to just get them off Chat GPT, or he copies them of you, or the other guy that did stories years ago. And I think because a lot of the AI stories were probably just fed into Chat GPT, and it spat out some crappy story, and some annoying voice will tell a story while stealing loads of people's footage and narrating it. I think people come back to say, well, I'd rather have a guy telling me a story on the screen. My biggest video was a story I did, and it was a visualization of me telling a story, because I didn't want to be on the screen, my face telling the story. I thought people are going to get pissed off with watching me and trying to visualize what I'm telling them. That's done over 500,000. That's my biggest video.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, it's very satisfying when you have a video that does very well. Unfortunately, the video that did well for me, over 1 million views, was called 20 Things Not to Do in a Go-Go Bar. And I've kind of moved away from that now, because when I started before COVID, the channel was a lot to do with the stories and girls and go-go bars. And I've tried to get away from that now. And I'm more on the kind of retirement, long-term expats out here. So I have lost quite a few people along the way, but I've gained a different audience, and I have some loyal followers like you do. Do you want to just try and answer that, Pat?
Sure.
So Mark says, because you get around a lot more than I do, especially in Bangkok now. You say, hi, everyone. I'm planning to move to Bangkok in 4 years. What area has low condo rentals, 12 to 15K, but is suitable for an expat, i.e. restaurants and amenities, etc.?
I do tours for people who want to potentially move to Bangkok. I did 2 last week, and I show them 4 or 5 areas that they could potentially move to. One of the most common questions I get asked is, can you recommend an area to live in where there are less foreigners, or, they want to be in a local neighborhood? And I've done videos recommending areas. And I always said, if I would never recommend an area in a video if I wasn't prepared to move there myself. So that criteria in his question, 12 to 15, you could choose between, places that are still 30 minutes from the center of Bangkok. Tao Pun is a riverside neighborhood just north of Chatuchak. You've got Bangkapi, you've got Sapan Kwai, you've got La Prau. They're all, areas where tourists don't go to them, and you want to go to local places and still have your Western comforts. Everywhere's got a mall that sells imported stuff if you want your tea bags or your breakfast cereal like I do. There's probably 10. Bang Na is a place that is starting to get interest. I did a video on that a year ago, and people have actually moved there because I did the video on it. Sinakarin. These places aren't the outskirts anymore,
No.
So there's a lot of I've got plenty of videos on my channel recommending areas, area living guides, where I give you the rent costs of all the 10 condo blocks in the neighborhood. A lot of those neighborhoods I'm mentioning, you're talking 15,000 a month to 20,000 for a large studio. You can get a small studio for even 10,000 in these places, but I try to keep it realistic because not everyone wants to live in a studio. But it depends.
I got very lucky when I came just after COVID, and I got a fantastic 51 square meter, well-appointed apartment in Soy 8, Sukhumvit Soy 8. So I was right in the heart of it, but I was down near Benjakiti Park, so it was real quiet, and that was only 20,000 a month, but that was a nice place, balcony, everything, washing machine. Okay, so let's do another one. I'll let you, because this is for both of us, so I'll let you answer this one first, and then I'll tell you who mine are, other than ourselves, of course. So Ditching Corporate says, I'm curious, who are the main folks you two watch or look forward to on YouTube? So you first, Pat.
Thailand-based stuff.
I guess he means Thailand-based, yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of YouTubers now. You know,
But are there any you actually? Because every time I see your video, because I'm still subscribed to you, so if one of your videos come up, I know it's going to be good. So I won't watch it right then. I'll put it on my big screen in the evening, so I can watch it properly. Is there anybody you?
Yeah, I would say Global Travel Mate, because he's got a similar mindset to me. He wants to show the unusual places. He goes everywhere. You know, if something new has opened, or a new park, or there's an obscure temple outside.
Is
Bangkok.
that the guy? I think I know
Dutch
who you
guy
mean.
on a bike. Yeah.
Is he Swedish or something like that?
Yeah, he's Dutch. He rides a bike.
I know the guy. Yeah, his videos are pretty good. Anyone else, or is that because I mean?
Not. I watch various. There's none that I avidly follow and watch everything they do. Paul, I mean, there's a food guy. There's a few food guys. I mean, you got Adam OTR. His videos are research and historic like mine. Gary, the Roman cook. One guy I know Paul actually. I've done his. I used to work with him years ago, teaching, and he's got a channel, Paul G Eats, and you know he's no nonsense. You know, all these people who say, "Oh yeah, no one goes to the local food, you know, street food places." He does that. He goes to the local
guy with the
places.
bandana?
No, he's not. No,
okay.
English guy, but he goes to all the street food places and food courts, and he just eats. If it's crap, he'll say it's not very good. But you know, he's the only one doing it. And I do watch what he does. Yeah, no one else.
So for me, I got you. Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't like to watch anything down in Pattaya. Okay, I've grown out of that. All the the stuff about the bars and the sort of stuff I'm talking about. I cannot watch that sort of stuff anymore. There's a young guy, I forget the name of his channel, but he's up in Isaan. He has a little goatee. He's got a Thai girlfriend long term, and they have a business and they run a farm and everything. And I found that channel quite fascinating because it's something totally different. I don't know if you know the channel I'm talking about.
Is it Ricky and Isaan?
That's
Ricky
it.
and Isaan? Or
that's it. And he'll be out in
him.
he's out in the Isaan countryside, and the Thai family's he's part of the Thai family. And he always wears a kind of a hat, a farmer's hat. He's pretty good, but other than that, I was
going to say there's one guy I do like. He's based in Hua Hin as well, and he documents his life with his missus and his kids. Native Farang. Yeah,
I know him. I forget the name, but I know exactly who you mean.
Native Farang.
Oh, okay, that's somebody different I was thinking of. Right, another one here. Hi, Pat. Would you do something on the serpent again? Would there be any more info out there that has not been made public of him?
It's funny you mentioned that because that was what we were working on that time, wasn't it? When we sort of had a trial separation. If you remember,
mine was crap. I don't know if you've seen the one I did. It was crap.
The one I did ended up in the Nana video I did, and I put it out.
You ended up with the poisoner.
No, I did the serpent. I just went to that location we went to, and the Atlanta hotel, because they filmed it at the Atlanta, and Charles, who runs it, had a cameo in it. I mean, there's nothing new about Charles Sabraj. I mean, he came out of prison after that. He made a fortune on the series. He's dying of cancer, isn't he?
Right. So, I mean, just in case you don't know, the excellent Netflix series called The Serpent, which is a true story about, I won't give you all the details, but he was a killer, basically, him and his partner. Not so much his partner, but he was, where was he from again? He was Nepalese or something, wasn't he?
His partner was Nepalese. His partner was Nepalese. Or was he Indian? But he was in Nepal. He was French. Charles Sabraj. Right. But his partner was Indian, I think. Yeah, and they were in Nepal, and they went to Soi Nam Dupli, to some of the bars there, Patpong.
Yeah, because that where they filmed that series, The Serpent, they actually filmed in an old 80s housing where people still live today, but it's actually at the end of Soi 4 where Nana is. That's where they actually filmed it, and that's where Pat and I went there together to make a joint kind of almost documentary style on where they'd filmed it. We went to the real location where he lived near Patpong and everything, but for some reason it didn't kind of work out. Pat called me up and says, look, this just hasn't come out right. And I said, it's funny you should say that, because I've just looked at my footage and it hasn't come out right. And we just never did anything since then.
Yeah, I think I put that video on the shelf, and then at the end of that year, I did the Nana thing, and then I put it in that. Yeah, I mean, we didn't do anything. We didn't hardly really talk in all this time. I mean,
I think I was having a bad day, to be honest.
Well, I think we can call it, we had a temporary divorce, Peter.
Yeah. Do you know the video I liked was the one where we set up, where you were in Soy Cowboy in the day, and you were like, well, you go down the other end. And I was walking, and you were like, look who I bumped into. I mean, I know it was just so right, because it was Soy Cowboy. Let's see who else. Michael, great to have both of you on the chat. Have you seen the decline of European tourism and growth of other countries taking over and pushing prices up? I'll let you answer it again, Pat.
Decline? I wouldn't say there's a major decline of. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously more Russians, there's more Indians, there's more. I read this actually earlier on. People are moaning now there's too many French Arabs. I mean, you can go back and forth and say, oh, cut the 60 visa, free visa down. I think it's just there's more general sort of bad behavior going on, and they're getting away with it. Tourists are getting away with it by being released with a fine. They should be. 20 years ago when I first came there, the narrative was that you didn't mess around in Thailand. You didn't mess with the locals. You respected the locals. That has all gone out the window. You've got a totally different generation of people now. They smoke weed in the street. It annoys people. They get drunk. People actually want to fight, locals now. And it's unbelievable the way it's changed. I remember seeing, now you see lager louts. You see people walk around, this whole idea, what you're looking at kind of thing has sort of come in now, type of tourist. And it's sad. They should clamp down, stop the free visa for a lot of countries. And you're seeing on the news, they're finding people that's hiding out here illegally. Groups of certain nationalities are hiding out. They all came in on a free visa. I did a video called, Where Are the Quality Tourists? And it actually got demonetized.
Why?
Because I think they said it was racist. I had a Russian guy talking about Russians. I didn't slag any of them off. I had an Indian guy talking about the Indians. And, I mentioned about the Chinese. I didn't say any of them were directly responsible for the decline of tourism. The point was, where are these quality tourists? It was more about the government's insistence that they want quality tourists.
Sure.
But their idea of quality tourists is clearly not quality, because they don't have the right idea. They think that any old foreigner is rich and they're all going to come in and throw money around. But then they're seeing these foreigners coming in. There's, oh shit, they're not rich. Oh, we thought they were all rich. Look at them now. We can't, what we're going to do? It's too late, Did
you see the guy on the back of the BART bus in Phuket who was doing monkey swings and he fell off the back of the BART bus? And all the fights you see in Walking Street now. I mean, it never used to be like that, did it?
No, it's just it's sad. People have got less morals.
Sure.
You can blame people. I see comments. People say, "Oh, it's because you make weed legal and you get these kind of people." Yes and no. It's just a different generation of people who don't give a shit. Brought up on totally different mindset. Don't respect local people or local sort of laws. And the police aren't hard enough on it. They're not they should be clamping down. I thought all this bad behavior was a violation of your visa regulations. There are regulations for a visa. When you come in, you read them. Oh, no arrest, but you won't engage in any bad behavior. But these are clearly violations. But the police aren't doing anything. They're just saying sorry and releasing them. They should be deported or banged up.
Sure.
So I'm sure you feel the same.
Quick one there for you on screen there. I think I asked you that about 4 years ago.
Does Pat speak Thai? Well, I was brought up without my Thai mother from the age of 11. We didn't speak Thai at home. My Thai stretches to about 65% fluent, I think.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I don't. I should take classes. I should learn. I could do. Can I do? I can conduct interviews if I have to, with Thai people. I just get caught out going to hospitals or banks and all the complicated stuff. But no, I'm not fluent in Thai.
I found that when I've been with my Thai girlfriend, I'm into my 4th year now, and talking to Sapan Kwai, that's where she worked, in a hospital, so I know that area quite well. But I found my Thai has greatly improved since I've been living with her, because she never spoke a word of English when I met her, so it was all translation apps. And her English, she can speak some English now. My Thai has really come on a lot. I can't sit and have a conversation with somebody like I'm talking to you, but I know all the I can just about. There's nothing I can't ask for, or I want all the sort of things that sometimes you'll try and teach me a word and I'll say, I don't want to know that. I'm never going to speak that, teach me stuff. I'm going to, like how to turn on the fan and stuff like that, and I know all that now. So, yeah. Okay. I'll let you answer again first on this one. Glenn says, what countries would you both choose if Thailand was no longer an option?
That'd be a tough one for me, because I've actually got Thai. I'm a Thai citizen, and so it couldn't not be an option. It wouldn't. Oh yeah, I'm British and Thai.
So have you got both a British passport and a Thai ID?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. You could buy land if you wanted to, then, right?
Yeah, that's how I do the tour business and everything. A lot of people ask.
I've seen the comment.
Yeah,
I've seen people saying, "Why are you working? You haven't got a work." And then another guy sticking up for you, saying he's half Thai, you idiot. So I've just gone for my Thai ID, but it's the Farang Thai ID. I've gone for the yellow book, the Tapian Ban. And I'll get that next week. I've already had the interview. I had to get so much paperwork. I had to send my passport up to the British embassy. Then it had to go to the immigration, then somebody else, and photocopies and pictures. And I had to be interviewed. So that's been done now. And then I can apply for Thai citizenship ID for a Farang. It's pink. They call it But in theory, I shouldn't have to pay dual, the dual pricing that Farangs have to pay. In theory, with that, I should be able to pay the same prices as a Thai. So we'll see. Okay. I've seen more families visiting Sukhumvit area. Is it affordable here?
I think that's a mistake. They book hotels in the Sukhumvit area, not knowing that parts of it aren't really family friendly. Let's be honest. Is it affordable? Of course it's affordable. I see a lot of people, a lot of videos, a lot of clickbait videos. Thailand's too expensive. Everyone's going to Vietnam. And they talk about cost of living. Since COVID time, milk has gone up 4 baht. Pork has gone up like 7 baht. The cost of living hasn't suddenly jumped up in the last year like these so-called experts are making out. It's all sensationalism, and everyone's going to Vietnam now. I know loads of people who went to Vietnam on holiday, and they said they'd never go again. I've known people over the years that think, I'm fed up of Thailand, I go and move to Cambodia. They come back, because the people aren't the same. It's not as warm, it's not as friendly. That's another thing. You get people moaning that Thailand isn't the place it was, and then you look at where they live. Oh, they live in Pattaya, or they live in, they live in Nana, or they live in On Nut or something, and they're in these expat sort of ghettos where Thais are jaded by them. Whereas if you live in real Bangkok or real Thailand, where you are just a foreigner in a Thai neighborhood, you're not going to come across all that crap you get, living in a place like Pattaya, where the locals are probably sick of you anyway. You've frozen on my screen, Peter. Or maybe I've frozen on your screen. Oh, he's gone. Does this mean everyone can hear me? Or have I frozen? All right. So it looks like it says Pat, your show now. So what can we talk about? Is there any questions I can read? Okay. Peter's temporarily. That's weird. Normally it would be me that's frozen, and not Peter. Okay, so I live in Bangkok. I live in an area near to Chatuchak, which is where the famous weekend market is. Actually, if I look on my studio screen, I'm fine, but on the main screen, I'm frozen. So I've lived here. Actually, it was the first place I rented a house in back in 2004. And that was where I lived was now has the SkyTrain for the last 6 years. But when I lived there, I still loved it even before it had the SkyTrain. So it's definitely one place I recommend. What else could I talk about? I'm totally stumped here. I was actually checking on the football. I'll leave that. Did anyone watch the boxing last night? I'm frozen now. How did I get into making historical videos about Bangkok? I always loved history. I'd always lived where I lived, and I thought I'll do a video, my first video about that area. I think Peter's come back.
Yeah, thanks for keeping it going. I was ringing you just now in panic mode because I don't know what's happened. Sometimes it overheats. It's a laptop, and I have to put cushions behind it to stop the echoing. It's done that once before in all the time I've been down here. So thanks for keeping it going.
I tried, Peter. It's frozen again.
On that. Okay, can you hear me?
I can now. Yeah.
Let me just make sure I've got the right microphone on. Yeah. Okay, good. Hopefully that won't happen again. Has that ever happened to you on a live stream?
It did on my first couple of live streams because I think I was on the free version of StreamYard and they deliberately make it crap, so you got to pay. No, I haven't.
Right.
I haven't done a live stream for ages.
Right, I do actually pay for it. I got a subscription, but it's just I don't know. Sometimes the mouse and the USB connection the laptop's still okay, but the where you plug your USB bits in just sometimes stops. Very rare. Okay. Okay. Jesse says, "Damn, Peter has hijacked Peter's live stream." Somebody left a comment earlier saying, I stopped watching you because your stories are boring, and somebody told me Bangkok Pat was on tonight. But I don't know why people bother to send me a message saying that. If you don't want to watch me, just don't watch me. As simple as that. Do you get messages like that from time to time or not?
I get some people say I made a joke a couple of years ago about this Mormon church that was being built in Makassar, and I made a joke. It was about, because when you go to Sunday school, you go to church, they pass a plate round. And you put 10p on it or whatever. And this brand new church in Makassar, it's a big Mormon church. I made a joke, but it wasn't supposed to be offensive. I just said, I bet they passed loads of plates around on Sunday to build that. It's like $1 million church. And I got this. He was a Christian subscriber. He says, "Oh, you're dissing my religion now. Unsubscribe," in capital letters. So
I always say the same thing when they say that. I just say, "Don't let the door hit you on your way out." And a lot of the negative kind of messages, they're normally people who aren't even subscribed anyway, and they say, "I'm unsubscribing. This is boring," and we can see who's subscribed, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, some people do it to make you think, "Oh my God, oh shit, I've lost someone," or it's like they do it to say, "Oh, nah, so there, this is me getting at you somehow." But same as the comments. I mean, I stopped giving a shit. I don't even know. Oh yeah, my latest video got 15 dislikes, but everyone dislikes all of my videos. It doesn't bother me. When I started, if I got a dislike, I'd be thinking like, oh shit, what have I done? But what can I do better? But now I just think, oh, who cares?
Yeah, I know it can get to the point where it can. In the early days, I used to think, oh, why am I getting all this negative stuff? But then you get the support from the other subscribers. And anyway, let's move on. Look, I've got one here. Look, this guy here, he says, spend some money on a new laptop. You're a YouTuber for FS. I've already said it wasn't the laptop. It was the USB, which I've already changed, by the way. But that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. Right.
Yeah, but have you got a new laptop? Do you need to get a new laptop?
No, it happened once before, and I looked into AI, what possibilities it could be, and it wasn't one that plugged into the electricity. It actually took the power from the laptop. So I bought another one, an expensive one, where it actually plugs into the electric, so it doesn't draw the power off the laptop. But every now and again, the whole thing goes off. The laptop works, but my mouse doesn't work. I get a message saying the microphone's now not working because I've only got 2 USB ports on here. But anyway. People don't want to hear about that. Let's give you another question. So, sir, Jesse says, Pat, can you share about your dual citizen experience being a Brit and Thai? My son, 3 months old, is American Thai.
I don't know. Can I share my experience? I suppose he means like day to day. I see a Thai viewpoint and things. See a Western viewpoint and things. Actually going through the process of becoming a Thai citizen was fairly straightforward as long as you got the proper documents. When I did it, it was late. I did it later in life. I didn't do it when I was a kid. I wasn't registered. My birth wasn't registered at the Thai embassy when I was a kid. I had to go through all of that. My mum's death wasn't registered, so I had to get loads of documents. It's straightforward. One of the biggest obstacles that people come across when going for the Thai citizenship and their half is the ignorance you get at some of the district offices. Like I went to one half of my family were based from a district office, Nakhon Pathom,
right.
And someone else. Nakhon Pathom. And if you walk in there on your own, the staff there, they don't know about the rules for dual citizenship because they haven't needed to know them. So a lot of people who contact me and say, "Oh, I had problems going to the district office. I went in there and they said, no, you can't because you're Farang." It's a mixture of ignorance. Probably racism, but also that they don't know the rules. If you got a Thai parent, you're a Thai citizen. You've just got to get the paperwork together.
Yeah.
And,
do they if they think you're a Farang and then they finally find out that you are half Thai, do they treat you differently, or is it?
No, I mean when I did it, I went with someone who knew them in there. This person her father used to be the mayor of Nakhon Pathom, so everyone knew them there. But I hear it so much because people ask me advice about it. Said, "Oh, we went to the local district AMPA office, and they said, oh, you can't be a Thai because you're Farang." And I said, "You've got to go with someone who knows the law. Go with a lawyer, or you've got to outrank them, basically." Because there's a lot of misinformation and ignorance in these places. And if you go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, oh God, I'm not going to go.
Well, I know what they're like for paperwork because, like I say, I've just applied for the Yellow Book, and it was the stuff they were asking me for, and having to send my passport to Bangkok to get it notarized, and then it had to be notarized in Thai down here, and just the running around. I had to have 2 Thai witnesses come there with me, and just really quickly, let me just say thank you to Praval. I think that's rupee, 1,000 rupee, a very generous man. Thank you, Praval. Okay, and somebody asked a really good question. If I miss your question, it's not because I'm purposely skipping it or I don't think I want to read it out, but there's quite a few questions for Pat, and we're giving details and stuff. So try and read out as many as we can, because you've got to be on your way in about half an hour or so, right?
Yeah.
So we'll try and get as many
20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just guys, to let you know, tonight there won't be a members stream because Pat's here. I'm not going to finish at 9:30 like I normally do. I normally finish at 9:30, have a break and come back at 9:45. But I want to keep this one going. So I won't finish at 9:30. I'll just keep going, and then we'll have a members on schedule the week after, as always. Okay. Did you do a video on Jim Thompson and his history there?
I haven't yet.
Okay, there's one for you.
I will do eventually. I'm trying to get more of an inside thing.
What I particularly like about your videos, as opposed to other people who do those style of videos, I don't really do those sort of videos. You know why? Because of my serpent video, bit of a disaster. But you really go and look up all the facts and the details. I mean, it's not just I'll go out and make a video today and you really research it and make sure you've got all the right information and do the history. Like when we met for the Serpent, I didn't know, that area where you were with Carl. You know that what is it you call it?
Sorry, Nam Dupli. It's there's two streets: there's Soi Si Bam Pen and Soi Nam Dupli. It's just off Ramafor Road.
Yeah, we went there together, right? And
we didn't go there. We went to Ceylon.
I went there on my own, yeah. So, and that Carl, you do the live stream with, what's it called, Bart Minute or something?
One Bart Wisdom.
That's it. Yeah. Great title. So he sort of, I wrote to him a few times because I really like. He's one of the only YouTubers who've got real genuine old photographs from the 80s, and he's made videos and he puts these photographs up when he was kind of 19, 20, and tells you a little bit about what they did in the 80s. And I found that fascinating. I thought he was a very interesting guy. Okay, big fella here since 1983 and love listening to these guys. The cat lover, hilarious with the Thai. Let me give you guys something juicy. Okay, that sounds a bit ominous. Is that the right word? Glenn, very, very easy to criticize and harder to be creative and to produce content. Do you ever run out of ideas? I mean, sometimes I thought I was going to run out of ideas here in Hua Hin, but I'm actually getting more ideas than I had in Bangkok. And I've actually got, like, the Hard Rock Cafe contacted me and said, can you come and do a video? The Car Museum here in Blueport, they contacted me and said, can you come and do a video? Do you get to the point where you think, oh, what am I going to make a video about this week? Or does that not happen with you?
No, I've got a list of hundreds of places around Bangkok. Yeah, I mean Hua Hin, there's already a history video I could do there. You know, you've got the old railway line, you've got the old Royal Hotel, which is now a hotel. Yeah. The train station and loads of stuff.
Yeah, you're talking about the God, what's it called now? The Sonara, is it? Sintara.
Oh yeah.
It used to be called the Railway Hotel. It opened in 1921, and it was designed by a Scottish railway engineer. I'd done a little bit of research. That was the video that I made that flopped. You know, I mean, typical. So how often now do you put out a video? Have you got a schedule, or just whenever you feel like it?
It's whenever I've finished it now, because I divide it between doing my tours and filming, but I also people ask me to speak at things as well and do presentations, and I also put on the YouTube nights. 3 of them, we've done 3 now, and I did a Sukhumvit history night in O'Leary's as well. No, I don't have a schedule. I'd like to put them out more often, but I can't.
A lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the latest one is 1 hour and 25 minutes. I mean, who the hell makes a video for 1 hour and 25 minutes? But I didn't want to do part 1 and then next week part 2, because people are already sick of part 1. You know, if someone isn't, they're going to think, oh, it's more of the same shit. So,
or they'll come back and say, I didn't see part 1. What you're starting at, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Can we talk really briefly? Somebody's put a good question on there, and I want you to answer that in a while. But can we talk very, very briefly about, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but you were telling me you put a lot of work into some videos and YouTube just basically wouldn't let you put them up or demonetize them, and you felt like you wasted quite a bit of your time. What happened there?
there was 3 videos. One I had to change. Luckily, I hadn't uploaded it properly, but it got flagged before. Because you leave it unlisted for a couple of days, and YouTube will get into it. Anyway, one of them was the quality tourist one. There was an Indian guy I took from his video with permission. He knew, and he was talking about Indian tourists, and I think what he said they deemed as racist, as unsuitable for advertisers. I did a video on a truck accident from 1990 in Bangkok.
I've seen that one.
I had to change. I had to go back and take I had to take out a whole section on the burns victims in the hospital, talking about their experiences now, which was a shame because it was all part of the story. And then there was another one I did about Bangkok flooding.
Flooding.
I think, the history of Bangkok flooding, and I said some things about climate change, and I think it didn't like that. Because I said there's 2 sides to climate change. A lot of people think, this Greta girl is talking a load of rubbish, blah blah, and climate change is a load of cobblers and all that stuff. And then on the other hand, there's people who believe it and worship it. And is it an excuse to tap your phones, to have CCTV everywhere, to go cashless, basically all the conspiracy theory stuff. And I just mentioned it because people believe that or they don't believe it. And I didn't like that.
So you've moved away from that now, basically.
I don't do any news-related stuff. Now it's all replaced with One Bar Wisdom with Carl.
It is really difficult to know because YouTube, they're not very specific with their rules. They just have their community guidelines, which is like War and Peace. And I did a video. I wasn't even in the video, but it was called "Is Pattaya on the Decline?" And it was just B-roll, and I was talking over the top of it, and I was talking about how it's changed over the years. It's still a great city for young kids who come in and stuff like that. And they wouldn't monetize it. And I didn't show any girls. I didn't talk about bars, nothing like that. So I don't know. It's a strange one.
I know, and then on the other hand, the kind of stuff they're pushing and gets like big views and stuff like, how do they get away with that? Are they just not monetizing the video and it's still going viral, and it's like someone secretly filmed Beach Road or Sukhumvit?
Right.
I think how does that work? I'm talking about people's opinions on climate change, and you're censoring just what I'm saying, yet you allow this crap to go, to go without incident. It's selective, isn't it? I stopped. I don't follow this algorithm or do anything to favor the algorithm. I stopped sucking off the algorithm years ago. I don't try and push my videos or do keywords anymore. I've got a group of people who watch my videos. I don't need to look at.
You've got a loyal following, actually.
I've got a loyal following. Yeah, I know people do videos with an eye on the algorithm to hope that YouTube algorithm will push it if it talks about this or it's got this mentioned in it. You get people who talk slow in videos so the algorithm picks up the script and will push it because it talks about this or that. I stopped following the algorithm thing. I didn't even look at my CTR till a year ago. I don't look at it. No, I don't think it makes any difference.
All right. Okay. So let's. The next question says, Pat. This is from Glenn Hotspur. Pat, are you looked upon / accepted as Thai, or is there any judgment that you are half British?
It's funny because some Thais look at me and just think I'm Thai, and they start talking or whatever, and then other Thais don't. They think I'm foreign. And I've met foreigners here. I say foreigners, Westerners here who look at me and think I'm Thai, and then so it's 50-50. Judgment. Yeah. I covered this in a video about people who judge half Thais. There is certain sectors of society here who look down on Thai women who marry foreigners. And I actually had a sort of a cartoon in one of my videos of someone telling a Thai they were half Thai. And that person saying, "Oh, well, that's really cool," but there's a thought bubble coming above their head, and in that thought bubble is a picture of Nana Plaza with all the girls dancing, because that is a true thing. You tell certain people your mum's Thai, and they immediately assume that your mum must have been a
Bargo.
whore or something. Yeah, Bargo, basically. Yeah. It's getting out. It's a bit outdated, but there's still sectors of Thai society that immediately make that assumption. So I'm actually quite careful sometimes about who I tell I have a Thai mum.
Have you got any funny stories? Anything that's happened with that in mind, or anything that sticks out?
No, I've like going to the national park with Carl. It's in a video. He filmed it where they thought I was foreign. I showed my Thai ID and got in for the Thai price. I mean, I look foreign, so they're going to try and charge me the foreign price. Whereas, I get into all these places I've done history on, like the Grand Palace or Wat Po or Wat Arun. It's free to get in if you're Thai, and no one looks twice. I show the ID. They don't look twice at him and say, "Oh, you must be a foreigner." So it's different people look at me in different ways,
Most of the time I get in on the Thai price now because my girlfriend's very bold the way she does it. Like, she'll take my Thai driving license, ask me for it, and we'll go in somewhere and they'll want one price for me, and a cheaper price for her. And she'll say, "But he's got a Thai ID," and she shows my driving license. Yeah. And I think it's like they don't want her to lose face by saying that's not an ID, that's a driving license. So they just, in you go then, So
you need that. You need someone like that to do that. To push them like that.
Yeah. I mean, because they don't want to challenge her because it's a loss of face, right? Okay. There's another one there. Pat, have you ever done, or will you do any videos on Nana Plaza going back to the Vietnam War days? Also a story about Nana itself. Just before you answer that, there was something I wanted to say, what you were saying about people, if you say something a little bit disrespectful. I put out those Nat and Dave cartoons a few years ago, which were really, really popular. And, people used to write to me and say, "Oh, that's so disrespectful for Thai girls," but they couldn't actually see it. It was humorous. It wasn't meant at all Thai girls, Yeah,
it's a parody, and people will get it, or people can look at it that way if they're looking to somehow criticize it or get into a conflict. People do that. It's funny, this question here, because it's exactly what I'm working on. Because someone asked me in one of my comments yesterday, they said, "Oh, are you going to do the GI area during the Vietnam War, which was New Petrobury Road?" It was a new road literally built with entertainment, bars, nightclubs, massage, hotels, restaurants to cater for GIs.
That's the one at the end of Soi 3, right? Yeah, opposite that's Petrobury Road, right?
Petrobury Road.
That's a long road, though.
But no, the section that they built first was from Pratunam to Ekamai.
Okay.
A lot of that. That's why there's still massage parlors there today. That area was the GI area, and then GIs came up. The ones who were a bit more higher ranking or had a bit more money would come to Nana, and go to places like the Grace Hotel Disco or the bar in the Raja Hotel or the early version of the Nana Disco. A lot of these hotels in Nana actually had what they call coffee shops, and they were discos in the evening or pickup bars in the evening, but they just called them coffee shops. So there's the whole idea, like the Grace Hotel coffee shop. Even if you look it up today, it's actually a disco.
Yeah. Do you remember, like, I don't know what year you came over, but when I first discovered Nana, it wasn't actually, it was a shop. It just transitioned from a shopping center. Do you remember that or not?
No, that was well before my time.
That was in the mid-90s. It was they had
mid-80s maybe. Yeah, even further back. Yeah. But I mean, but on another part of that question about Nana family themselves, I actually cut out the bit I did in the last Nana video about the Nana family, because their mansion is still at the opposite Soi 2.
Right.
The old Nana family mansion is actually still there. Yeah, it's set back. And I went a little bit into it on that, and then I took it out. I thought, no, if I'm going to do the Nana family, because I've learned more about them and what they've done and everything. And I'm actually in the process of making a connection, hopefully with someone from that family, to talk to them and get an insight more. And then the next Nana video will be about the GI thing, Petrobury Road, and the history of the Nana family. Yeah.
So somebody's asking a question here, which is actually what I was going to ask you, because I remember there was a while ago where you were going to go to Pattaya and make a video, and there was going to be quite a few cameo in it, and I was looking for that, and I never ever seen it because I'm quite interested in Soy Diamonds. You know, there's a hotel that's recently closed down there, and that was like the main hotel where when the Navy came into town, the officers and stuff would stay there.
Yeah, there's. I've still got the files with all the information. I've got loads of information from old GIs. I've got a Pattaya guide from 1970, every page intact. I had it all ready. And then I went there in January 2024, and it was horrible. I hated it. I thought, oh, I'll put this video on hold. I still plan to do it at some point. It just means I have to go there, which I don't really.
Do you hate it that much? Yeah.
I don't hate it. It's just not the place it was. You know.
No.
I can't find anything from the old days of when I was there 20 odd years ago. There's just nothing left of it.
Right. I mean, I got a few old people send me stuff as well, and I did a few montages, not videos, but I did montages of old photographs of Pattaya. And one photograph that particularly put a smile on my face was they used to have, before digital photography, they used to have you know, these, you put a roll of film in your camera, Kodak film, do you remember, right? And then I got these brochures from Pattaya, and every single one of them had a picture of, on the seafront were all these camera shops, and they all said on them 1 hour development, and you'd go in there and you say, how long do you need? And the guy would say 4 hours, you know, on the side it said 1 hour development. How are you doing for time?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay.
I was just going to say, what was it? Yeah, about Pattaya as well. I forgot what I was going to say, Peter.
You were talking about you didn't think it was as nice as it used to be, you know, in the 90s and stuff, and you just hated the place.
There's no emotional attachment to it. When I first came here and I first went to Pattaya, it was less crowded. It was a smaller place. Now it's just overrun with all different people, who have made it theirs and are treating it as such, and it's a hellhole. Yeah, I tried to get a Bolt taxi when I was there, and I was waiting for it, and then he drove away, and then he called me. He said, where are you? He said, I said, I'm just outside Royal Garden Plaza. He goes, I thought you was that group of Indian guys. So I cancelled so he cancelled it. I'm sure Pattaya there's a good time that can be had there if you're new to it. I actually feel sorry if someone's coming to it now for the first time and the way it is. I feel sorry for them, but then again, they wouldn't know what it was like in the past when it was more of a homely sort of smaller place, wasn't it? Where you had more in common with other expats that you met and saw out and about.
Yeah, and it was one of those places. It was kind of like you went down for the weekend and you were ducking and diving, and you didn't mention that you'd been down there when you went back to Bangkok. But it was nice. It was fun, wasn't it? You know, you spent time on the beach. You'd go to some decent bars. How I describe it now, it's just industrial. You know, absolutely industrial. It's like Vegas, but selling something else, obviously.
Yeah, and it's funny how the Thai government keep saying, you know, these tourists are tarnishing the family reputation of it. That was Thaksin Shinawatra, 2003. He declared he wanted to change Pattaya to a family destination, and that's where that saying came from. In fact, he was responsible for pretty much destroying the nightlife, way it worked, and with his war on nightlife in the early 2000s. But that's a whole different thing.
Well, do you remember, I mean, if you used to go down there a lot of years ago, do you remember on the other side of Soi 2 where Soi Buakhao is and all that kind of area? There was nothing there. Do you remember that or not? No?
I do remember going down Soi Buakhao about 2005. I thought, why would anyone... There was There was a couple of English places there. It wasn't much, no. When I heard that it was such a big thing and everyone went there, I thought, why there? And the dark side, when I used to go there, I had a mate who had a resort like 10 kilometers on the dark side by a lake, and once you went across Sukhumvit Road, I think it was Soy 89, I used to go down. It was nothing. Absolutely nothing there. And now the dark side is a whole different new world.
Where did you stay when you used to go down there regular?
It was a place called Lakeside Hideaway, and it was miles down in the dark side. And now the development has almost got to it. The development's been coming back and back from Sukhumvit. When I went on trips there, the Welcome Plaza was a place stayed at. It was a shithole then. It's probably a lot worse now. But no, I mean that was 25 years ago, 26 years ago.
I'd mentioned in a live stream, there's quite a famous YouTuber down there. I don't want to mention his name, but I'd actually said in a live stream I'd grown out of places like Pattaya now. I didn't slag it off or anything. I just said it's not for me. I don't like going there anymore, like we're talking now. And this guy did his live stream and he basically said, people are slagging off the city. It's still a great city. Peter from Thailand Bound said he hates it down there. And I basically went on to another live stream. I said, I don't know why he's picking on me. I never said anything like that. But fair play to the guy. He sent me an email and said, look, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. And, all's good in the world, as it were. But, I've never sort of slated Pattaya. All I'm saying is it's not for me anymore because you grow out of it. But when you want to get away now with your, because you have a girlfriend, obviously, and you're not going to go to Pattaya, as I'm not going to. Where would you go to? If you want to get away for a weekend or a few nice days somewhere, where would you go?
The nearest beach, Chaam.
Yeah, is that the nearest one to you?
That's the nearest one we like to go to because we nearly moved. Yeah, Chaam. And then we rent a bike and then we go into Hua Hin for the evening and come back. Chaam's got and we used to go. I used to go down for the day trip early in the morning because that's where the fishing boats come in.
Right.
Chaam, and you can buy all the fresh stuff, and they put it in a freezer box, polystyrene box, and then you used to go back to Bangkok and put it in the freezer. That was before pandemic time. Yeah.
So I'm going up Chaam tomorrow, funny enough. But we were going to move to Chaam because it is a nice, quiet town. But we just found it a little bit too quiet to live full time. You've been to Hua Hin as well, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a nice town, Hua Hin, but there's a lot more to do here than there is in Chaam. And what finally put the nail in the coffin was one guy I met here in Hua Hin. He said, "Well, I live in Chaam, but I moved over here because I found myself driving to Hua Hin every day."
I think if you had a nice place to live in Chaam, and you drove or you had a bike, I don't think it should bother you that much. I mean, South Beach in Chaam is lovely. It's really nice. Yeah.
Well, where I live here in Hua Hin, it's actually in a village. It's 8 miles away from the center of Hua Hin, but it was all to do with price and location. We got a real nice 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. But we had to move out of the city, as it were, but I don't mind. It's 20 minutes, half an hour on the scooter or the car. So, you've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you?
We'll take a train. Take a train to Hua Hin.
Well, I plan to take a train up to Bangkok just to try it. There's a few comments on. I don't know if I should read these out or not. Okay, I'll ask you for your opinion on this. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. I don't really have an opinion on it. Do you? I'll let you read it and see what you think.
Hammered the nails into. Well, they got channels. I mean. I'm not one of them people that says, "Oh, well, don't watch them," because that's just a bullshit cop out. I don't know how they have hammered the nails into Pattaya.
I think what the guy's trying to say is because they show Pattaya, it's brought a lot of crap into the town. But I don't really agree with it because, I mean, Mac TV, it's not my kind of viewing, but he does very, very good editing and he's playing to a crowd, right? He's got his own following, younger guys. I don't know Max Nick Dean. I've met him a couple of times. Don't really know him. He seems okay. Who was the other one there? Keys one. He makes good videos. He does good editing. I've never met him, but again, he's younger than me, and I don't think they've put any nails into anybody's coffin, as it were. It's what it does. It just exposes more people to what Pattaya is, right?
You can't say they've spoiled Pattaya because even people who have just heard about it and desperate to go there, they're not going to go just, you know, because if you're going to go to Pattaya, you're going to go anyway. You're not going to go just because Mac's done a video or Adam's done a video. I think they're just doing videos like every other YouTube channel
because they live there, right? Well,
because they live there all in now. Like Mac, I've met Mac a few times. You know, he's a smart guy. He's one. I know him well. I had him on the YouTube nights. He's another guy, smart guy. Nick, I've met a few times as well. I think it's content. People are making content, and however people interpret it is up to them. But you can't say they've set out. You can't blame them for putting a nail into Pattaya's coffin. It's putting the nail into its own coffin. You know, you should blame the city council and, you know, and all those people who allow it to become the way it is.
And the thing is, what people forget as well, all these guys who go to Pattaya, as soon as they get back to their home countries, they've got nothing better to do. They're on Facebook, they're on TikTok. I went to Pattaya, I went with this girl, I did this, I had a great time. And it's the news spreads and other people go. So, you know, I mean, it's even if they weren't making videos, you know, people would still be watching it on social media, right?
Well, years ago, when I first went to Thailand, if I wanted to, this was like 98, 99, even 97 before I first went. If I wanted to look at pictures or see get an idea of what Pattaya was like or anywhere was like, I had to go to a travel agent to get a magazine, a brochure, or I had to go to the travel bookshop in Covent Garden to read the guide.
Lonely Planet's guide, remember that?
Yeah, it was to read the Lonely Planet. So now people have it so good, and I think that's probably what. I'm not going to say hammered the nail in the coffin of Pattaya because it wasn't just Pattaya, but when the internet put these places out, it changed the demographic of people, which you could say probably it went downhill after that. But that's an opinion.
So just finally, I'll let you go because I know you've got to eat yet and you've got stuff to do. But just finally, a question from me before you go. And thanks for coming on the live stream. It's been interesting as always. And I hope you know, we'll do some other stuff because you're coming down to Hua Hin, you said at some point, right? Yeah.
I'm filming my short film. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you know, I'm sure we'll meet up when you come down here. But so. Where can you see the future for all these YouTubers in Thailand, including me, including you and everyone else? Is it just going to trot along like it is? Is AI going to take over? Is it going to get saturated and die? What do you think?
I think AI, I mean, I think we're starting to see the back end of AI going away again. I mean, from the viewpoint of someone who's looking for original content that's informative. AI has come, people have watched it and thought, oh, this is clever. You've got a voice telling me all the same shit that the other videos telling me. And then people realize that, you know, these videos were made with zero effort, with zero research, and it's just some guy has put it all together. So I think they've realized that AI slop is what it is. Same as all the stories. You know, people get sick of it very quickly. I don't think AI is going to take over. There will probably be a YouTube AI section, if anything.
Well, I don't know if you've heard this, but quite a lot of AI channels have been demonetized because YouTube doesn't.
Oh yeah.
Advertise. There's a guy in the Philippines. I was watching his video. I'm a little bit guilty because sometimes I use AI just to create the thumbnails. I'll give you an example. I did a video on the new Bakara Indian restaurant in Bangkok, and I wanted to find a picture of an Indian waitress with a tray, and I couldn't find one anywhere. So I actually did it in AI, and it came out pretty good. But I try not to use them too much. I probably use them sometimes when I can't find the image I'm looking for. You know, but you absolutely hate it, right?
Well. Actually, I won't mention who this was, but there was a video out recently on YouTube, and the person who made it really should have known better. It was AI written. The history part of it was AI written, and it was wrong. The pictures were wrong, and that person really should have known better. People shouldn't be over reliant on AI. AI, thankfully, doesn't know much about Bangkok history, it can't pull up accurate information because it doesn't go to the sources that I go to. Some of the stuff I do videos on, the information, the real information that's true, is only in some books. You know, like all the SkyTrains videos of the train stuff I do, all those numbers and facts and figures are only in a set of books that were published in book form, that were taken from original notes from when these things happened.
Have you got a favorite video of yours, one that you've made that you really feel it was the right one, that you really made a good video and you've watched it a few times and you enjoyed it? I've got a few of my own, but I wondered if you
there's ones that I think have been milestones on the channel. Probably most recent, The Clash. I found the location of the album cover.
I remember that one,
because that's been talked about for years. You know, where in Bangkok was that? And I actually found it. I wasn't planning to find it for the video, but again, that was research. I was digging and digging and digging. 5 o'clock in the morning, I found this American music forum, and it mentioned, someone mentioned, I spoke to the photographer who took those photos, and she said it was on the railway track at the end of Petrabury Road. And then when I looked it up on the old maps that I've got, I thought, yeah, that's the only place it could have been, because of, you know, the left-hand side, it's all jungle. Anyway, that's one. The old town history, the Patpong history. That was like because you remember the Patpong Museum.
Yeah, I got there before it closed, but please do send me the link, because I haven't seen that one that you did.
There's been loads of videos. I got memories of all of them, because I keep all the B-roll from every single video I've done. I got 15, 20 terabytes of discs, hard drives here, and like you were saying earlier, I've got all my hard drives wired into this box, and that goes into the laptop. And this box, it has to be powered. It has to be separately powered, otherwise the laptop just drains the power.
Yeah,
it drains
like
the power.
It did tonight.
Yeah, and mine, when I'm editing videos, sometimes there's a glitch and it cuts access to these hard drives, and I'm trying to edit a video with files from those hard drives, and it messes me up and the whole thing freezes. So that's probably something similar to what.
Or you open up a project and it says can't find these files because you've moved the folder and you can't remember where you moved it from, so it can't find the file. So anyway, all right. Well, look, it's been great. Thanks for your time. I know you've got to get on. Sorry, guys, if I didn't get through all your questions, because Pat did explain in detail. And so are we allowed to know what your next video is going to be?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've just finished it. I'm about to finish editing it. It's actually a video a tour company have paid me to do about a Utia. It's a Utia tour, and it's when I did a canal tour video for them a few months ago, and my condition with them is that it's got to be my video, the way I do it. I'm not doing a sponsored video where, you know, sponsored content comes up in the corner. I say, no, it's got to be how I do a video. Otherwise, my viewers, I got a type of viewers who won't accept, you know, Squarespace or Surfshark ads in the middle of my videos. They won't accept that. That's why I never do sponsored videos, because it just screams of, you know, you're desperate for money or you'll do anything for money. So yeah, a YouTube, because I haven't done a proper history, a YouTube video. But I mean, to be honest, Peter, I might get a few comments saying, oh, you know, giving me grief for coming onto your live stream because people think that, you know, you do a certain type of content they don't like. But at the end of the day, you know, we're all YouTubers. And in the early days, you know, I was on Dave's live stream in the early days.
Dave?
Alpha Omega.
From Alpha Omega.
Yeah, I was on his live stream in the early days, and I got I got a few dozen subs from that. I got a few subscribers going on your live stream. At the end of the day, you know, we're all YouTubers. I don't slag anyone's content off because that's what they do. You know, I do what I do. Not everyone likes what I do. So if someone's going to say to me, "Oh, you're an idiot for doing Peter's live stream," it's it's not about. I'm not here promoting my channel. I'm here having a chat with you. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, that was pretty. I'll explain to people because I know you've got to get on. But what happened with that, with the comments and stuff. But okay, look, thanks. I'll let you go because I know you really do have to get on.
I do,
yeah, pressed for time. You stayed a bit longer than you said you would, so thanks very much, and we'll keep in touch. Yeah.
All right, Peter. Take care, and thanks
just
everyone
if you
for the
haven't,
questions.
I'm sure. Yeah, I've got to get. I nearly forgot to get this in here. If you haven't been to Pat's channel, it's called Bangkok Pat, and I sincerely I recommend you go and have a look at it because he makes probably the best. I think at least some of the best videos on YouTube for a Thailand-based YouTuber. Okay, thanks again, Pat, and we'll keep in touch.
Buy the shirt. Help the cats.
Help the cats. Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Okay. Cheers. All the best. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Good to have Pat on. I just want to say thank you very much to Jesse. Jesse, that's very generous of you. Thank you very much. But it looks like you've done it twice. Okay. So I don't know. I think. Okay, if you've done it twice by accident, let me know and I'll refund one of them, Jesse. If you've done it, what I'll do is when I meet up with Pat, when he comes down here, I'll buy him a couple of beers or something, so he gets a share of it. Okay, but thanks very much. Very generous of you as always. Right, so what Pat was talking about there when he said, people wrote comments. So Pat's audience, obviously the kind of videos that he does, just very quickly before I get into this, what I've been saying earlier in the video, when I started, because Pat came in and took up quite a lot of time on the regular stream. Normally now it's just gone 9:30. I would finish and I would start with a member stream 15 minutes later. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to do the member stream tonight. I'm going to carry this on because there's a bit of a flow here now. There's nearly 200 people in now, so I want to keep it going for at least another half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. And you can ask more questions if you want to. And if you remember, don't get pissed off on me because it keeps this flowing. And I do more live streams now because we've got another one on Saturday, right? So what Pat was talking about there was, so he's got a different audience to me. And I remember back then when I did an interview with him, he interviewed me on his channel, okay? Not a live stream. It was when we met in Soy Cowboy. We went down to one of the local canals. We just sat down. He asked me a lot of questions and he put out the video. This is going back about 4 years now. And because he's got a different, at that time, I was kind of a little bit of a manga channel. I'm not anymore. That was during the days, was it before COVID? I think it was. Or was it after? I think it was just after COVID because it was still quite quiet in town. Yeah, it was after. And what happened was he put the video out there, and because he's got quite a different audience to me, who are totally, most of them are, they like the history videos and stuff like that, and they don't like watching anything to do with go-go bars or talking about girls. It's a real taboo with a lot of his viewers. Okay, and people were leaving really shitty comments on that video saying, oh, why have you got that manga Peter on there? All he talks about is go-go bars and, girls. I hate the guy because, and there was just so much hate on there. In the end, poor old Patty had to turn off the comments, but I won't turn off the comments because me putting out a video with him on them, he's not going to get, I don't think anybody's going to write anything nasty about him. But that was fun. His videos are very good, aren't they? I mean, there's not many YouTubers out there and I mean this honestly. I don't watch too many Thailand YouTubers now because I do this all the time and I find it a bit boring watching other YouTubers constantly. I like to switch off, right, and watch something completely different on YouTube. But because he only normally puts out about one video a month and he's really researched it and it's very interesting. His is probably it's probably the only channel that I regular get a notification and think, I'm going to watch this tonight on this big screen TV. And I'm not overly keen on the train videos, but all the other stuff, I've always found them very, very interesting. Okay. And thanks again for that, Jesse. Very kind of you. Okay. Let me go back and see if I pick up a few interesting comments. Bryce, is it? Agree with Pat. Pattaya was much better in the early 90s, even though it stunk of sewerage. I remember that, which was pumped out straight off the beach. Yeah. I don't know if it's a getting older thing or it really was better back then. But, I remember that when there was no mobile phones and, you weren't getting ripped off and stuff. And, Yeah, I didn't get a chance to ask Pat that, Ronald, but I will answer one question that you that I skipped by earlier because it wasn't really relevant while Pat was here. But you said to me, Pat does a video without a green screen and it makes it look more homely. And why do I use a green screen? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is Pat doesn't very often make videos where he's just sitting in a room talking to a camera, whereas I do a lot of those sort of videos. The second thing is I have a blank wall behind me, a blank white wall. And if I didn't have a green screen, all you would be looking at is me against a white wall. And I can't think of anything more boring, the wall or me. All right. So that's why I have a green screen. I just think it looks more interesting, you know. Dog says Utah is definitely a go-to place. Very interesting place to visit. I did a video up there with Marley, but it was nothing. It won't be anything like the standard of what Pat's going to do. I'm looking forward to that because it's a fantastic city. If you don't know, Ayutthaya was the old capital of Thailand before Bangkok, but there's still a hell of a lot of old structures up there. Me and Marley, we were driving around and we found one huge complex of temples and all other stuff walled in, and they'd locked it up because some of the buildings were leaning and it was unsafe. But it was a huge place, and there was only me and Marley there. There was fields around it, nobody, not a single soul there. And here we were at this, looking at this area the size of, I don't know, 2 football pitches of old buildings. And, you know, anywhere else, you'd have security there, you'd have vans going around, just a padlock on the gate. I mean, you could have broke the padlock and walked in if you're suicidal, you know, the buildings. But yeah, very kind of eerie, really. Thank you to Franco. He was, I phoned up Franco earlier. We had Chris is here moderating as well. But, you know, when Pat's on, I was a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Paranoid that people would come into the stream and, you know, leave messages like I mentioned before. Okay, all right, Jesse. There's no way for me to get it to him, so if I see when he comes down here, I'll buy him lunch or dinner. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Yeah, there will be some people that are pissed off that I'm not doing the member stream tonight, but then I'm carrying on with this one, so it's going on longer. Okay, Richard, you said, damn, only just started watching, missed Pat. Well, you can watch him on the video will be on a rerun, right? So you can very interesting guy. Okay, Glenn, does Hua Hin put on events like Pattaya a bit on a lesser scale? They do have events here in Hua Hin, but it's on a much more low key. I mean, you don't have bikini races along the beach. You don't have, I mean, they have fireworks on New Year's Eve. Songkran is very big here. You know, they have certain events here, but it's nothing like Pattaya. It's so much laid back. And actually, frankly speaking, that's what I like about the town. Chippy, great live stream. I really enjoyed Pat's videos. Excellent presentation and thorough research. Cheers, Peter. Yeah, okay. I haven't had one bad comment yet. So for him, I've had a couple for me, not any for him. Thai Billy Boy, how you doing? Uncle Willie B, how are you doing? I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can find some that I've missed now because they've dried up a little bit, the comments. Big fella, wow, yeah. Wow, memories, Soy Diamond, the golden years, 80s Grace, Lucky Disco, Baby A Go-Go, the names ring a bell. Yeah, I mean, that originally when I first went to Pattaya, there were no go-go bars on Walking Street itself. It was Soy Diamond, and you had the carousel bar in the middle. You'll remember that. Okay, Woolly Bully. I'm going backwards now. I was in Pattaya, and it was as good as the first time I went. Still the best fun you'll have in your lifetime. I don't know how old you are, but you do grow out of certain things. You know, I mean, don't forget when I was hanging around Thermae and Cowboy and Nana, when I first, you know, really I was going out a lot. I was like the age of some of these YouTubers. I was probably, what year would that been? About 96. I was 36 years old, you know, and I'd love to, you know, we used to go down to Pattaya, drive down there, somebody's car, 4 of us or something. We'd have a weekend down there or a few days, and it was great fun. You know, we'd go out, we'd wake up at kind of 3 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, and, you know, go for an all-day breakfast at 4, and then, you know, take it easy till about dinner time, and then we'd go out and have dinner, and it was partying all night, basically. But you grow out of it. You know, you can't do that. I'm 66 now, and it just bores the tears out of me. That's why I've kind of, the channel's kind of moved on more to retirement. That's probably why some people have left my channel, because they just find that sort of stuff boring. Carl's videos are cool. I like his hikes through the national park and the tiger bite story. Yeah, you're talking about what's his channel called? I've actually written to him and he's written back to me a few times. He's the guy, he's been in Thailand forever and a day, speaks Thai. He does hikes through the jungles and stuff like that. Yeah, he's a real, I've never met him, but he's a real down-to-earth guy. You know, he's got some cool pictures from the 80s when he was younger. Innovations, thank you. Okay, Dog says, I met Mac TV as well in his cool bar in Pattaya in January. He is a cool guy. Okay, so he's built his own kind of following. He's a younger guy, isn't he? I don't know how long he's going to enjoy running the bar for. I mean, that's something somebody once asked me, and this is a true story. When the Nat and Dave was in its heyday, somebody offered to invest in a bar in Pattaya, and they wanted to use the Nat and Dave cartoon logos as they wanted to call it the Nat and Dave bar, and they wanted me to run it, and they'd split the takings with me, the profits, right? And I just said no way. You know, thanks for the offer, but the last thing I want to do in Thailand is be in a beer bar, you know, or a bar rather, you know, for 16 hours a day dealing with drunks and difficult customers. You know, sometimes it's just not about the money, is it? There was a funny one there there was a comment about the taxi driver, you know, when he drove off and then he called him and somebody, I think it's Vapoy, is it? What was that? Vapoy. If you're still there, that kind of put a smile on my face, but I can't put that up. Sorry. Okay. Robert, how are you doing, Robert? Nice to see you. And thanks for all your nice compliments, by the way, on the videos. I do take, you know, read them all and take it in, as it were. Peter, in Jomtien, currently on my way home to Hachiai. Sorry I missed Pat. And again, first class video on visa updates this week. Lastly, not upset, no members. Thank you, Robert. I'm glad you understand. Carl's Thailand, that's it. Yeah, Carl's Thailand. That was, who's that? Darren, yeah. I'll tell you the other thing as well. I'll read that out in a minute, Glenn. The other thing as well, you know, because we're working on the house here, we've done a lot of work on it. You know, as I said at the beginning of the stream, when we moved in here, we knew we had to buy air conditioners and we knew we had to buy a bed and a sofa and cutlery and, you know, all that sort of thing. But there's so many extra things we didn't think of that we've been having to find workers to do it. You know, we've been having to go out shopping to do it. I mean, tomorrow, and I've been busy with my application for the Yellow Book, the Thailand Bound, and what that'll do, that basically I'll never have to get another residence certificate, because I don't know if you know this or not, but if you live in Thailand as an expat, every time you want to buy a motorbike or you want to take a lease out on an apartment, or you have to go to immigration and get what they call a residence certificate. Okay, it's not difficult to get, but it's just a pain in the backside. And once I have this Yellow Book, my girlfriend had to go to immigration and fill in a document to say she has an alien, I mentioned this last time, living in a house and with my passport number and all the rest of it. And so I'm now registered as living full-time in Thailand in this house. And then they give me the Yellow Book. And with that Yellow Book, I'll never, ever have to go and get another residence certificate. And then I'll apply for my Thai ID, the one we were talking about earlier. Right, H-Bomb, you must have come in late to ask that question. You say, hey, Peter, do you still do Mongrel videos? No, I read out the stories. You know, they're true stories that guys write, and they're not AI. I know they're not AI because I can tell her, I've been reading them out for nearly 6 years now, and I've had a few AI stories sent to me, and they just scream AI the way they're written. They're not written like a real person's written it. When a real person tells a story, they'll tell it like they're talking to me. AI doesn't. I don't do manga videos. I read out the stories on a Saturday morning. I tend to do just day-to-day life here in Hua Hin. I did a video on Pattaya a while ago. You know, I'll be going up to Bangkok. I'll probably do 1 or 2 videos up there. I like doing interviews as well. That's quite interesting. I interviewed a local visa lady here, Ing from Smile Visa, Craig from, I forget the company name, he'll slaughter me, but he insurance, you know, he gets insurance for expats, older expats, and he was explaining. I like doing them sort of videos. I interviewed the promotions manager. I think she is at the Hard Rock Cafe. So yeah, I mean, it's I enjoy these. I never liked that label Monga, you know, and a lot of the Mongas who were in the live streams I used to do from Bangkok and my garage back at home, a lot of them have drifted away now because there's a lot more channels around, isn't there? You didn't have all these channels, all these manga channels that are in Pattaya now. You didn't have them in the old days. And there's so many of them that concentrate. You know, they film the bars, the girls, they talk about short time, long time, and all this sort of thing. So those real kind of mongers have kind of drifted away from me now. But I've picked up another crowd. I've picked up the retiree crowd, you know, people who are coming out here, they want to know about visas, health insurance, all that sort of thing. So it's kind of balanced itself out. Okay, let's see if we've got some new comments come in. Kev says the Nat and Dave story series was absolutely brilliant. Do you know what was brilliant about it? People said, why didn't you carry it on? I couldn't carry it on because my friend Simon did them for me. The voice was actually put out by his wife. It was distorted a little bit. I don't think you'll mind me telling you that. But you have to, you know, to make that sort of, you can't farm it out to someone like Fiverr or somebody who's working who does it in the Philippines for $5 a video or something like that, you know, or get it done in Pakistan, because it needs to be done by somebody who understands the bar culture, you know, how the bar girls think, their tricks and their little games and that. And you just cannot explain that to somebody who's not in Thailand. And once I tried to get other people to do it, but it just wasn't the same. I had people offer to carry it on it, and it was crap. They were crap. Simon was the software that he used, very, very complicated to use. And he was very good at it. His wife was very good at doing the voice of Nat. Simon's scripts, the stories were very, very good as well. Hang on, bloody T-shirt down the back there. And yeah, I mean, it was during COVID, and they were only 10-minute long episodes, but people really looked forward to them. You know, even me, actually, they were great. What I did, I just took all the 10-minute clips and put them into a 1 hour long video, and it's been seen, you know, 500,000 times now. Even Thai girls watch, you know, there's guys like me who live here with their Thai girlfriends who speak a fairly decent level of English, and they're like, hey, have a look at this. And they put on the thing and they're rooting for Nat, you know, like, yeah, you know, go for it. Ronald says a Nat and Dave themed bar would be so much fun. It's a great idea, but I'm just not the one to do it. You know, I mean, and this was 5 years ago. I was 62 when I came out here this time. So I must have been about 60. I just, you know, I know guys who run bars like that, and it's a young man's game. It really is. Okay, Robert. Please tell me how a foreign can own a bar in Thailand, as I thought only Thais can own businesses. This question has bugged me for so long. So they don't actually own the building, the bar themselves. They pay. They don't own it. They lease it. I'm not an expert on the bars, but from what I've gathered, what they do, if there's an empty bar, for instance, you're talking about how can they run the business. I'll get to that part of it. So if you've got an empty bar, for instance, and some foreigner comes along and thinks, oh, I'm going to open a bar here, you've got to pay key money. And in some parts of Pattaya, it's, you know, it can be $1 million baht just to get the key to go in. And then you've got the monthly rent. Okay, so that's one side of it. So a foreigner can do that. He can pay the key money. He can open a bar. But where it gets a bit dicey is you definitely have, if you're working in that bar, you have to have a work permit. So what I know some guys, what they do, a lot of guys actually, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of guys will do is they'll come to a place like Pattaya, they'll find the empty space, they'll draw up they'll rent it basically. I won't go through all the ins and outs. So they'll find an empty bar. They think, I want to make a bar here. I'm going to call it Peter's Bar. You know, they'll pay the key money, they'll sign the contract, get it checked out with a lawyer or something if they're clever enough, and then they'll have Thais who arrange everything, like, because they can't go in and start hanging. I watched a video about a bar owner who wanted to rearrange some pictures on the inside of his bar, and he couldn't even do that. He had to pay a Thai to come in and say, right, I want those 3 photographs on that wall to be put on that wall over there. He couldn't even move them. So what a lot of guys do, Robert, is they'll open the bar with their money, and they get the profits and they pay the bills and stuff. But any work aspects has to be done by a Thai. So they'll have a Thai manager, they'll have Thai staff in there, Thai cleaners, and that's how it works, most of them. And there are a few guys in the bigger bars where they have kind of like 3 or 4 bars. They will actually get a work permit. You know, it's quite it's quite expensive to get a work permit because you've got to have 4 Thais. I won't get into it because I'll get messages from people saying, oh no, that's not right. I'm not a lawyer, you know, but that's basically an answer to your question, Robert. I hope that helped explain it. Glenn, Peter, you're a builder handyman now. You found someone good. You don't need to worry about future things. that need doing. So yeah, I mean, look, that's another thing. People sometimes I'll put videos up on Facebook where I'm touching up the paint on the side of the house, and someone say, "Oh, you'll get arrested. You need a work permit. You can't do anything like that." But nobody's paying me to do it. It's my girlfriend's house. A little bit of paint comes off, and I dab it on, or I sweep the yard or something. It's hardly. I mean, I'm hardly going to have immigration breaking down the front door and deporting me for it, right? Who's that? Who's been very generous now? Thank you, Robert. That's very nice of you. Thank you. That'll be a few more beers on a different day. I was going to tell you about a video I'm going to do, but I don't want to let the cat out the bag. It's a bar that I go to, but I'm going to do a video. Okay, Dog Peter, you forgot that most of the time Farangs put the bar on their Thai girlfriend's name. Some do. A lot of them don't. Some do. Unfortunately, it happens a lot where once the bar's up and running and making money, that Thai girl wants that bar for herself. In fact, I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. There was a guy who had a bar. I don't think it was Pattaya. I think it was Khon Kaen or somewhere. So he set up a bar, put it in his Thai girlfriend's name, and it was running really well. And all of a sudden, she decided she didn't want him anymore. She wanted to kick him out of the relationship, but she wanted that bar. And she got really aggressive and threatened him with a local mafia and stuff like that. And what she did, for some reason, the girls in the bar, typical beer bar, there are about 6 to 8, maybe 8 girls working in the bar. Well, they really, I think it was an American guy. No, it was an Australian guy who ran the bar. And the staff really liked him. He was one of these guys, he's always very pleasant to the Thai staff. He'd bring them a bit of food sometimes. If somebody was short of money, he might lend them 500 baht. And, he was one of those sort of guys that all the girls in the bars thought he was a nice guy. And when his wife, and they thought it was a terrible thing what his wife or girlfriend did, because she was just a money-hungry witch, basically. And once the bar was up and running, she'd used him, right? And she was like, wanted him out of it and threatened him with the police and all sorts. Well, when he left, all the girls in the bar left. And this person was telling me she got more girls in there. He said you wouldn't look at them twice. He said they were like old mothers, big. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm just saying what he told me. He said they're big women, about 50 years of age. And he says, he said, I can't understand it. He said they were both running that bar really nice. And, she turns on him like that out of pure greed. That's what it was. They both could have had a nice life running that bar. They've got some beautiful girls there, nice life together. But some of them, they're just greedy and they can't help it. Dog, thanks, Peter, for the video you did about the River Kwai Bridge and the Hell Road in Kanchanaburi. Thanks to you, discovered such a beautiful part of Thailand. I love it down there. It's so atmospheric, isn't it? I think I mentioned I wanted to get a shot of it. Didn't do very well, that video. I don't know why. I wanted to get a shot of the bridge on the River Kwai. There was actually nearly 700 bridges on the River Kwai. Okay, that was made famous, that one, because of the movie. I think it was 1957 with I forget his name, Holden. You know the guy I'm talking about. So the bridge on the River Kwai became the famous one. But the Japanese actually had built nearly 700. From going up to Burma. People don't know that. And then you've got Hellfire Pass, where they chipped. There was a film called The Railway Man. That was based on Hellfire Pass. And when I went to the bridge to get a video shot, it was just covered in tourists, So what I did is I went back about 10 o'clock at night, and the bridge is all illuminated up, and there wasn't a single soul on the bridge, and I was on there filming. A little bit eerie, actually, when you know what went on there. Alan Jansen, is it? Nat sent me a Valentine's card this year. I'm sure. Right. Okay. Is it Bryce? First time I went to Chatham 30 years ago, it had the highest proportion of British expats compared to other nationalities of anywhere I went in Thailand. Not sure now, but less tourists back then. So as I said in the earlier stream, when we decided to move out of Bangkok, we were seriously thinking about Chatham, and we did I'd been there several times before I met my girlfriend, and we stayed in a few hotels around there, and it is very peaceful. It's very nice. The beach is nice. But after a few times, we just decided there wasn't enough there. We didn't particularly see lots of British retirees there, a few Farang hanging around, but it was just got to the point where we thought there just isn't enough here to keep us, we're going to get bored of it. So Hua Hin was a better choice. Ronald, is the buzzing Pattaya guy running a bar? I don't know anything about him. He's still got a YouTube channel. I did a couple of videos with him years ago. This is during COVID. He was giving out free food and stuff, and I give him a little bit of support with that on the channel, advertising that. I see he puts out a few videos. He's got his own. He's still going. But what was your question? I don't know if he's running a bar. Okay, I know he was involved with bits and pieces, but I don't know his business, to be honest with you. Okay. Right, 2 hours nearly. All right, how many we got in? A couple of hundred. Okay, let's keep it going for a while. As long as the comments keep coming in, I can keep it going. Because I'm really tired today. I've been out, like supervising this canopy and had to go out and do some shopping. And it's just hot at the moment. It's so hot. The reason we're doing all these bits and pieces to the house is because it's like an oven, The sun is straight up there at midday and then it falls down to the front of the lounge. And we're getting there. We've put the UV tint on all the windows. We had a company do that. We've now got the overhanging canopy, which has made a really big difference because I went in there at 5 and normally the sun's in the window in the lounge. We have to close the curtains and there was no sun. It was brilliant. And tomorrow we're going to Thai Wazadu to buy a remote control big ceiling fan for the lounge. Hopefully that'll do it. If not, I'm going to have to get the loft insulated because they don't insulate the lofts here. And of course, the hot sun bakes the tiles all day and that heat radiates down. People talk about whirlybirds and air conditioners in the loft. I don't think you need to go quite that far. Okay, Darren said that sounds like an Aussie in Thailand and what happened with his bar in Pattaya. Could very well be him. I thought it was Con Ken. Carl, is it Hua Hin / Chart Arm seems more European, Nordic, Swedish, Dutch last time I went there. Well, that isn't actually a bad thing because they have their own little communities and then they don't make trouble. They don't go out in packs and get absolutely, leather drunk and start abusing people and having fights with ladyboys and stuff. You're right. There is a big kind of Nordic community down here. There's a lot of Norwegian. You see Norwegian flags hanging out of houses and stuff, but that isn't something that would put somebody off coming to Hua Hin. It's a very peaceful town. Glenn, what are the vet prices like, Peter? Now you have been told, are they reasonable compared to England? Well, we haven't had to take him to the vet yet because funny enough, you mentioned that. I've got his book here somewhere, but I've lost it. So because we bought him from a breeder, he had his initial injections, his health injections, motorbike, car. Yeah. So I don't know where his health book is. We got it somewhere. So he's got no, I thought it was in there. So he's got a book where he's had his jabs, and I think his next one is due this month. So I haven't actually been to a vet's yet. That's worrying me now. I hope I haven't lost that book. But I can tell you off the bat, compared to the UK, they'll be so cheap. Everything's much cheaper here than it is in the UK. Everything, maybe fast food's on a par. Fast food's quite expensive here. I thought dog food was quite expensive, but then I found other like the first dog food I bought was 1,200 baht for 4 kilos because I give him a dry mix with some meat. But I found cheaper alternatives that are still quite good. Right, Jesse, that's a great historical area. I'm going to make a video up there myself in a few months. Take my drone and try to get some good aerial shots, cinematic with. Yeah, I look forward to watching that, Jesse, if you do that. But just be careful. I'm not sure what the rules are with a drone because they totally banned drones because of what was going on at the Cambodian border. They banned any drone flying here. And there were a couple of YouTubers who actually had their drones confiscated and they were taken into the police station. I don't know what happened to them after that. I know you'll do your due diligence. So, okay, Franco, yes, he still has a bar. I won't mention any names. I'm not sure who we're talking about. Jesse again. Hey, Peter, have you considered a MacBook Pro? I mean, I know it's a bit of an expensive, but man, even with the lowest tier model, I had the tremendous success live streaming with it opposed to Windows PC. So I don't want to learn Mac again. I mean, I've always used, don't forget my age, Jesse, and your age, I've always used Windows and it's just something that comes naturally to me now. And the actual what happened tonight when I lost the stream for a while. I was really lucky that Pat's professional and he kept it going. You know, most other guys I bring in, they would have just clicked off. They think, oh, the stream's gone, bang, gone. And I was trying to ring him as it was rebooting. I thought, why isn't he picking up? It's because he kept answering the comments. So that was very professional of him. But yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm going to stick with it, to be honest with you, Jesse. You know, the stream quality isn't too bad. You can see now I've got a decent internet connection and it works for me. You know, it's like, what if there's no saying we have in the UK, if it ain't broken, why fix it? But I know the camera quality you said before is far superior. I'm looking forward to the new Samsung S26, I think it is. I'm not sure if it's out or it's coming out, because I've always had an issue getting really high quality footage at nighttime. Now I bought the CGI, is it? The DJI 3. I've got the 2 and I use the 2 for B-roll because it's really, really small. I've showed you before. I just hold it and I walk around. That's great for B-roll. The Model 3 is bigger. But I never really use it. But I've heard that the new Samsung phone does excellent filming at night. You know, so if I was walking around the bar areas near the Hilton in Hua Hin, the footage apparently would be really crystal top quality. Because when I do it, I've got the S22 Plus here, which is quite a decent phone. It was 45,000 baht, but it just night shots. It's not great, you know. Okay, Thai Billy Boy, Peter, they have a fantastic reenactment, is it, of the bridge over the River Kwai during the war, a sound and light show with pyrotechnics and a lot of other things. It's well worth. Look, let me put my email address up. If you've got any more details or there's a website, because I'm into aviation history and war history, if you wouldn't mind sending me a few links, if you've got anything on your PC, don't go out of your way, but you know, that's something I would make a special trip to go down and see, you know. Yeah, thank you, Jesse. Most people normally do argue with me. Chippy, Bintu is quite upset he didn't meet Pat posting some nasty things on Facebook. Okay. Glenn, can you do a video regarding visiting the vets if you don't mind? Of course. Yeah, try. I mean, if we take him to the vet, if they let us film, we will. If not, I'll sit outside and tell you what the prices were. Crypto Chris, connect your laptop by Ethernet cable to your internet router. Yeah, that's what I've got, Chris, because it is now. So the router's here on my right. I can't take it out. No, I don't want to mess about with that. I'll probably lose it. So let me get rid of your comment. You just might be able to pick it up. Oh, can I get it there? No, it's not quite long enough. You know what? There you go. So basically, it's in the side of my laptop, and it streams on wireless, okay. But I've got a spare USB on this side, and this USB goes into the multi-purpose USB. So I've only got 2. So if I have to upload something, I have to take out the cable, as it were. But you're right, I get a much faster internet connection as well. Jesse, DJI is a great product. Unfortunately, America has banned it. So dumb. Go on a DJI shopping spree when I get back to Bangkok. That's really interesting. Why would they ban DJI? It's some of the best photography equipment in the world, especially for people who do social media. That's a real strange one. But you know what it's like here when you get to Thailand. They've got some fantastic malls and they've got some great DJI shops. They've got everything here. You know, I mean, I bought all mine here. Watin, is it? Watin Loon. Hi, Peter. The first time I visited Hua Hin was on 1995. Obviously, it has changed a lot, but I still like it. We have a house near Soi 80 before there was bars on the street. Okay, well, that's quite interesting. I know we're 80. You're in town. You're lucky. So if you know Hua Hin, I'll tell you where I live. Not exactly because of the nutters out there, but you know where the immigration is, the main immigration, not the one in Blueport. So if you came out of there and turned right, you'd end up on Highway 3818. You come out of immigration, turn right, you get to a set of traffic lights, you turn left. I'm about 2 miles north of there. There's a night market called Lunar Market there. I'm not too far from there. It takes me about half an hour to get into town, but as I said earlier, it swings and roundabouts. Had I got a place in town, it probably would have been another million, another million baht. And she just couldn't. I wasn't prepared to put a lump sum of money into it like some guys do. Not criticizing them. That's up to them if they want to take the risk, put it in their Thai partner's name, a house. It's not something I would be prepared to do. She's got the mortgage. I have invested money in furniture and air conditioners, all in. By the time it's all done, I've probably spent somewhere in the region of, I'd say, £5,000. That's about 10,000 Australian dollars, 6,000 US dollars, £5,000. If it all went tits up, which I wouldn't have taken the chance coming down here if I thought that anyway. We're into our 4th year now. But if it all went tits up, that £5,000 wouldn't change my life. It's not like these guys who put everything they've got in cash into a property and then they lose it and they're busted basically. I get criticized. People say to me, "Oh, you're a mug. She's going to do this, she's going to do that, and you're going to be out of pocket." But the way I look at it is, it's going well now. It's been going well for the last nearly 4 years. We're enjoying life down here in Hua Hin. Everything's good. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, if that happened, I get a place, I rent a place in town. I'm the same as I was in Bangkok. I rent nearer to wherever all the action is. I'm renting instead. It's just like renting here. I'm paying the mortgage, so it's the same as rent. It's just a lot less. Okay. Just on this, again, you said, I found the Windows PC really laggy for streams unless you have a custom-built performance PC, but that's a lot more expensive. So I bought this laptop about 4 years ago. It's got an iCore 7 in it. I upgraded the RAM from 16 to 32, I think it was, or 8 to 16, the highest it can go to. I had that done in here, 2,000 baht, I think he charged me. And he bought my old RAM off me, 500 baht each. But I haven't had any problems with it. The problem is with the USB connector, with all the USB ports. Sometimes it just goes down. I don't know why. There's no reason for it. And it's the second one that I bought. So S26 came out in April, 3 versions. Okay. I don't know if that's in Thailand though as well, Robert. You haven't said if it's in Thailand, because sometimes it comes out earlier in other countries than it does, here maybe. Okay, Thai Billy Boy, got the email. Thanks. We'll be in touch. Cheers. Look forward to it. Derek Sharkey, is it? Hi, Peter. Do you take regular massages for health? I don't. One of the reasons is, hang on. I'm not really into massages too much. I'll be honest with you. It's not. I'm quite ticklish, actually. No, touch my feet and I'll jump a mile. That's the first thing they do, isn't it? They want to wash your feet. No, I don't really go for massages. My girlfriend will give me a bit of a massage if I want one. And it's money I don't need to spend really. And I mean, they're very good. People like going for massages. It's what you do when you come to Thailand, isn't it? But I'm not. I don't know. I've just never been really into massages. I have had them in the past. When I lived in Soi 8, I used to go to, when I first got there, I used to go around to Soi 10 and got a regular one there, and the less we talk about that, the better. Right. Any videos of your girl, Don Gomez, is it? No, I don't really put her on camera. She's on camera on Facebook in a few videos, but they're like back videos, side videos, where if I want to ask her something, she'll be pottering around in the garden. She likes plants and things. So she'll be doing something with her plants and I'll film her from the side where you just can't quite see her face. And I'll ask her a question. She'll answer in Thai, in English rather. So I can say to her name's Sawn. I can say, look, Sawn, what do you think about this? And she'll give a reply, and that's on Facebook. But she asked me, she values her privacy, and she's got her own social media pages, but that's mainly for her friends at the hospital and stuff. She doesn't want to really go on social media. She doesn't want to be connected to these to what she loves what I do, and she loves it when people bump into me in the street and say, hey, I watch your channel. She just doesn't want to be on camera. Okay, Chippy says DJI is banned due to the fact that it is a Chinese state-owned company that can request. Can't quite see it because it's on screen. That's right. Chinese state company that can request any information at any time, similar to Huawei. Okay, all right. It's a shame because it's a great product. I didn't know it was owned by a Chinese company. Yeah, I read about that this week. It said, what's the story with the Chinese national that was caught with all the military-grade explosive and weapons in Pattaya? Do you know anything about it? Are the Thais in your area talking about it? No, not really. It was very bizarre, wasn't it? You know, I watched it on the Pattaya news channel. I watch it most nights. And it was just as you've explained it. They got intelligence, and he was a Chinese guy with all what you said. I don't want to repeat it again. I don't know anything more than you. I mean, what was he plotting? It's quite scary, isn't it? A cool crush. Hello, Peter. Have you considered letting your girlfriend work part-time, given the constant cost of home ownership? Wouldn't be nice to offset that if you would also let her have some sense helping? Well, there's a couple of things there. Firstly, it's very, very difficult in Thailand to get part-time work where you just work 2 days a week, because this is one of the options we talked about at the hospital, because she's very revered at the hospital. She's very knowledgeable because she's worked 20 years in Bangkok. The stuff she knows, she works actually in the accounting department, and she's dealing with insurance companies every day, you know, and some insurance companies are very, very difficult. Sometimes she has to walk guys to the ATM, you know, older guys who don't really, they're not really with it, and she has to walk them to the ATM to take the cash out of the machine, you know. So she's very, very skilled and knowledgeable about the accounting department, and because of that, they didn't want to let her go, and they've asked her to stay another month because, you know, she'd only been there 3 months, and they said, look, can you please stay another month? So one of the things I'd actually said to her, I said, well, if they think that much of you, why don't you say you'd be willing to come in a couple of days a week and help them out? You know, but you want it, say, 3 days a week. She works 6 now. She's on 15,000. Work 3 days and get 7,500. She put that to them, and they really have to replace her with a full-time staff member. And at the end of the day, you know, look, 7,500 baht. She has to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. She does 10 hours. She has to ride half an hour into town, and it's a rainy season now. She has to ride half an hour back from town. So there's 11 hours, right? You know, and I just said to her, you know, I'm not going to stop you from working. If you want to work, you work. You know, I'm not your daddy, as it were. I'm your boyfriend. But, you know, it's just, think about it logically. You know, we moved down here from Bangkok, and the idea was we were going to enjoy Hua Hin. We were going to go out some beaches, you know, eat nice food, and we are going to have each other's company. The first 2 months down here, that's what happened. And people have said things like, oh, you'll be under each other's feet. You'll get bored of each other. You'll make it. Well, we have fights all the time, but, you know, she's not one that holds it for days. It's like over with, you know, silly things. And, but just because you live with a person doesn't mean you spend every minute of the day with them. You know, I mean, it's like, somebody started to send me multiple pictures now. It doesn't mean you spend every minute of the day with them. You know, you know, she's got her life. I've got my life. You know, I go out and do YouTube. She's got friends. She's got a friend in Chatham. You know, she can go on a scooter and stuff. You know, she can go to markets, and, you know, she likes to get up early. I don't like to get up early. So I'm just trying to, I got a little bit thrown off there with somebody sends me pictures, but he sends me like 10 at a time. Yeah, so basically we just made the decision. And the other thing is the dog is a big equation now, because when there was no dog, if she's at work and I wanted to go to a beach an hour away and make a video and I was going to be out all day, it wasn't an issue. I just locked the house up and I went out. But, you know, he's in a cage. We have to, because he's teething, we have to put him in a cage, else he'd chew all the furniture up. He's got water and he's got food, and I put a couple of fans on him and I draw the curtains so it's not hot. It's hot, but it's bearable, right, with the fans and the water and everything. But it's just cruel, you know. If I was to leave him in a cage for 6 hours, it's just not so. I've always been an animal lover, and it's just not something I would do, you know. So the thing is, if she's not working, I can say to her, look, I plan to go to Bangkok by train tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. She's cool with that. I've spoken to her about that before. I want to do a video on the train, you know, and so I think all round, I think it's better, really. For the money she's earning, it's a pittance, really, you know, for the hours she was just so tired when she come home every night. Okay, Robert again. Sorry, Samsung shops do indeed have S26, but prices are high, so maybe better off insulating the loft. Honestly, Peter, the cameras are great, but already they are talking about an S27 end of this year. Mad. Okay, the problem is in Thailand, if you've got a camera that's older than, thanks for the info, by the way, if you've got a camera that's a phone that's older than 5 years old, all the internet banking stops working. It's just all the banks, because They just see it as a security risk. You've got an old phone, you know, and my phone now is 4 years old, so I've got to get a new phone. It's been fantastic. It's the S22. I mean, most of the videos I take are with this phone. You know, the Saturday morning stories, they're all done on my phone. I've got several cameras, fancy camera. I've got half a dozen cameras to do different things. But the Samsung high quality, high definition is such good quality that I don't need to take a fancy camera. I just stick that on a tripod and talk, you know. And sometimes I'll go out, and the Hard Rock Cafe I did with the phone, you know. And the other thing I like about taking video with a phone, you see guys out, you know, in Pattaya, especially in Bangkok, and they got big rigs, you know, they got cameras and external lights and a phone facing this way, and you know, big bloody, and they're walking around and they're so conspicuous. Well, some of the best shots you can get is if you just walk around with a camera and you look like a tourist, because you go places, it doesn't matter where you go to the bridge on the River Kwai, for instance, you've got a dozen, 20 people walking along the bridge with their camera doing that. So if you're just another person doing that, they've got no idea that you're making videos, right, to upload. Of course, you don't stick the camera in somebody's face, but that's why I prefer to do it on a phone. I explained this one last week. You said, you know, when you ask a Thai girl, you suggest to go somewhere, and she says, up to you, means. Yeah, I mean, basically, I found out recently, you know, if you ask a Thai girl, a girlfriend, you say, where do you want to go and eat? She'll say, up to you. My girlfriend actually says, I'll follow you, but she means up to you. And I'm repeating this from 2 weeks ago. Joyous Roma, thank you very much. Very kind of you. Always, every week you do it, and I do appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Up to you. Where's that comment? I've lost that comment. Yeah, okay, there it is. So, yeah, I mean, you'll say, look, do you want to go shopping? Up to you. Do you want to go to the beach? Up to you. It's always up to you. Well, the reason for that is I found out recently, you know, this Thai thing about losing face, you know, it drives people nuts. So if you go to, if she says to you, up to you, and you say, okay, let's go to that Thai restaurant I like over there. And we go to the Thai restaurant and the food comes out really bad and it's been an awful experience. She hasn't lost face. Where if she says, no, I don't want to go there tonight. I want to go to that pizza restaurant. I fancy pizza tonight. And it comes out and it's bloody awful. And I have an argument with the chef and it all goes, you know, up in the air, as it were. Then she's lost face because she suggested that restaurant and it all went wrong. So that's why they say up to you. What used to make me laugh was the girls in the bars. You know, I'd go out with friends and they'd say, I like that girl, I'm going to take that girl. And the guy would say to the girl, how much, you know, short time? And she'd say, up to you, what you want to pay me, sort of thing. And he'd say, this is back in my day, right? Not nowadays, but I think the going rate back then was about 1,500, something like that. And he'd say 1,000 baht. And she'd say, no, it's 2,000, you know, like this. So they say up to you, hoping that you don't know. And you say, okay, I'll give you 5,000, you know. Chippy, depending on Amazon, shipping to Thailand, there are loads of refurbished phones that come with warranties. You can get some really great deals. I wouldn't take the chance, to be honest with you. I'll tell you why. I went up to Mabu Kong MBK Center and they had the exact same phones and they were half the price. And I was like, wow, where are these coming from? And they were brand new. And I had to play about with a couple of them. And the software was just lagging. You know, I mean, obviously it's not genuine software. They're somehow getting these phones and putting them at half the price. So, you know, a phone is something you buy once every 3 to 5 years. Okay, it's expensive, but when I buy a phone, I want to buy it from Samsung. If it's 50,000 baht, it's 50,000 baht. But you divide that over 5 years. That's how long I keep my phones. Okay, you're talking 5,000 baht a year for an excellent quality phone. That's just me. Other people will buy secondhand. Jesse, you don't need any better camera, Peter. It's all good. If for some reason you needed some kind of crazy 8K content, well, you've got plenty of friends with gear to help you in super simple, better. Yeah, for sure. And actually, my laptop is quite fast even now. I made sure it was good enough for YouTube because I edit my videos on this laptop. And, you know, when you're editing videos, that takes a hell of a lot of memory or RAM, whatever it is. And if I go higher than 2.8K, like 4K, it just can't handle it. So if I do high definition, it's normally HK 2. I think it's 2.4 or 2.8. You can't notice the difference. I can't anyway. Right, I think we're there. Oh, got another comment. Okay, Steve on Facebook there. Samsung S25 Ultra is the business. Yeah, they're great. They're great. I mean, you pay for what you get, don't you? They're great. They're great phones. Great phones and a conspicuous. I'm not sure if I'd pay out so much if I wasn't a YouTuber and I use the camera, because for me on the phone, the camera is the most important thing. It really is. What in Loon? Hi, Peter. Have you ever had a Sunday roast in Le Pub on Soy to just off Soy 94? The original chef Gary has a place on Soy 102. Okay, so I've been to Gary's for the off 102. It was quite difficult to find it, actually. I've been there a couple of times, and yeah, it was good. I've never been in the pub. I had one in. I went for a Sunday roast last week, which is rare for me, and I had it in Scruffy Murphy's. But there was a big party in there, so it took a while to come out. And I'd enjoyed it the first time I'd gone there. I didn't enjoy it so much this time. But it was good for the money, you know. I mean, it's, what was it, 385 baht. It wasn't the cheapest roast in town, but again, you get what you pay for, don't you? I have heard, I have been there, but I haven't had a roast. I've heard the food at Father Ted's. Is it Father Ted's? In here in Hua Hin. I've heard the food is very good in there. And I did go in there. A subscriber, before I moved here, a subscriber I met down here invited me for dinner over there one night. This is going back a couple of years. And I can't remember what I had, but I remembered it was very high quality and very good food, you know. The reason I don't go there is because parking's a little bit difficult. It's a very busy road. It leads down to the beach, and both sides, the police station is right opposite, actually, a little bit down, but it's on the same street, main police station. It's just a bugger to park, you know. It's not very easy to park. No, I'm not going to, dog. You say, don't buy your phone in MBK. They sell fake stuff there. Yeah, for sure. Not so much now. They've been, thank you, Chippy. I don't know what CA is, a couple of dollars there. Where's that from? But it all helps, as they say. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, MBK, I'm sure most people here know the MBK Centre. They sell a lot of, let's say, careful how I say it, not so genuine products, okay? You know what I mean? But they've had a lot of raids lately, you know, they're Canada. Okay, thank you very much, Chippy. Very kind of you. They've had a lot of raids in there, and a lot of that stuff has gone now. You know, I don't know if it's returned. When I was living there, I used to like shopping in Pat Pong Market. In Pat Pong Market, I got a, what's that pen called? What's that famous pen? It's got a star on the end of it. In real, they're like, you know, a few £100. Mont Blanc. I bought a Mont Blanc for 100 baht, and I still got it. Where is it? There it is. So if you know anything about the Mont Blanc, it's one of the best pens you can buy, right? This is years ago I bought this. It looks exactly the same, and it actually writes really well, right? But you know the difference between a real one and this one? It's the star on the end of a real Mont Blanc is like an egg shape. It's oval, and this one is flat. Okay, but it was 100 baht. You know, I mean, amazing. Still got it, and it writes really well. I used to have when I was in the hotel business. I had a real one, half a month's wages. You know, but all the management had them, so I was like, oh, I better get one. You know, Chris, I always go to Gary several times while I'm in Hua Hin, no matter where he's working. First met him at the Mucky Duck. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I've got a friend called Thomas who's in America at the moment. His mother's just passed away recently, and he's gone back to sort that out. He spends half his time in Bangkok and half of his time in Hua Hin here, and he put me onto it. And I've been there a couple of times, and yeah, the food's pretty good. I think you've got to book up on a Sunday in Gary's. I forget the full name of it. Is it Gary? It's not Gary Sabai, is it? That sounds familiar. I couldn't find it the first time I went there because it's quite difficult to find, isn't it? You go down 102 and then you take a right and it's down there. Okay, Steve says the MBK Centre keeps getting raided now. Yeah, which is I mean, I understand. I hate it when people do this. I'm not even going to read it out. You know something that tourists used to like to come to Thailand to, one of the big things is shopping. You know, you go to the MBK Centre and you can get, you know, the women could get these designer bags and the pens and, you know, the T-shirts with Nike and all this stuff on it. But, you know, Thailand for a long time has been trying to clear up its image on that sort of thing. But, you know, tourists miss that sort of stuff. When I used to come here to visit, my daughters were very young. I used to go in there and buy all the Hello Kitty dolls. You know, the real ones are really expensive, or they were at the time, and the stuff they had in there, let's just call it discounted kitties, right? I can afford to get half a dozen of them. I used to go home, get off the plane, the girls would be waiting for me, and they'd be watching me unpack my suitcase and all this Hello Kitty pencil cases, backpacks, Hello Kitty caps, the doll Hello Kitty. I need young girls. I mean, their friends were utterly jealous of them. They've got all this Hello Kitty stuff. I did say blank, Steve. I didn't say blanc, did I? If I did, it was a slip of the tongue. Mark, how you doing? Been a while. Chris, he's at Sabai now, just over the road from where I stayed at my mate's house before he moved. Okay. I mean, I'll be honest with you, because I'm so far out of town. We found, when we first came down here, we got this house because we love the house. Okay, it's a lot of space for the money that we got it on that she's got on the mortgage. Okay, and it's got the carport and it's got the garden, so we can have the dog in that, and that's what we wanted. And it was the right price, but it is quite far out of town. It takes us about half an hour to get into town, and we go out to dinner a lot here. I used to cook in Bangkok because two people, you go out to dinner, even in a Thai restaurant around Sukhumvit, you're talking 800-900 baht. With a beer, of course, got to have a beer, and I started looking around for local places, and I found a great Indian restaurant 3 miles from my house rather than 8 miles. We go there regularly, not so much now because I'm trying to lose a few pounds. A place called Acha, fantastic restaurant, Indian restaurant. I only found it because I was looking for local restaurants around here, which there aren't too many, mainly Thai. So far, within 3 miles living here, I found 2 Italian places, a couple of really good Thai restaurants. I mean, fantastic and cheap. Delicious food. There's a place called Sixties Town, which is about 2 miles away. That's really great. That's a 3-star hotel, but it's done out like a kind of a ranch, an old cowboy theme, and they do some really good food. Where else? Yeah, I mean, I mustn't forget Superfish on Highway 3818, run by James and you should visit there if you pop in here. A young couple opened a chippy. It's quite good. Yeah, I mean, you just got to get out there and look local. But when we do go into town, we love to go to Bangkok, of course, because the food selection is great in there. They do it. When I first went to Bangkok years ago, it was, I'd say 99% Thai food. Now there's an Indian in there. You can get a curry, and it's good, and it's only 200 baht for naan bread, Indian masala, and some rice. It's a couple hundred baht, right? They've got a pizza store, which the pizza is really good. It's 100 baht for a pizza like that. They've got Mexican now. You can get a burrito for yourself. They've got smash burgers, really good quality meat, smash burgers, German hot dogs. I mean, we do, of course, we eat a lot of Thai food as well. But I'm just saying that Bangkok, and it's cheap as well. There's a couple of other markets further down, which is surrounded by like 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels. It's like 90 baht for a small beer. They're catering for the tourists. It's not cheap. Whereas Bangkok, big market, they have a live band. They have dancing girls, large chang or whatever it is you drink, 65 baht. Average price of a Thai dish, 60, 70 baht. So I like going there. And we have a few restaurants picked out that we go to quite regular. Okay. Taxi to Lao says, "Hi, Peter. I'm a proper fountain pen geek. Have a Mont Blanc." Okay, yeah. They're nice pens. They write really well. I don't think they're worth what you have to pay for them, though. At the end of the day, they're just a name. But then you could say the same thing about Rolex, I guess. Steve, I used to get the street sellers coming up to me saying, handsome man, you need Mont Blanc pen." Yeah, I put an image up on one of the live streams when I must stop touching my nose, and I think it's the dust from the aircon. I put an image up once when I did a live stream that somebody sent me in. It was when I was in the UK, and there was a cafe, and it said "Handsome Man Cafe," and it was like, "Come in and be more handsome sandwiches, handsome drinks, handsome." It was quite. It doesn't sound funny the way I say it, but it was quite hilarious. The sign, if you watch it. Wow, 2.5 hours. Okay, so if you come in late, I had Bangkok Pat in earlier on. And it was very interesting talking to him. He's going to come down here, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what his video is about because if somebody else does it, he'll be peed off with me. But I'll be meeting up with him when he comes down here. If you come into the stream late, I'm streaming to Facebook and YouTube tonight. If you come in late, you can go back and rewind. He was in a little bit of a hurry, so he was only in for about 45 minutes. Steve, by the way, I think this is the last one. By the way, you made a good call on the white canopy. You know what? On that, I can't understand how two neighbors have got the same canopy, but they've got it in black. I can't understand black. The metal's black and the plastic's black. And so because they seen him, my girlfriend went to the house and said, "Oh, could you tell us who made that?" And he come over and she had a chat and we came up with a price, 25,000. And I said, "I want white. I don't want black because black attracts the heat and it attracts the insects." And they've done it in white and it looks great and it matches the house real good, the colors. Steve says better than black, that absorbs the heat. Absolutely, and that's why I did it. Guys, I'm going to leave it there tonight. As I said earlier on, if you've come in late, there is no member stream tonight because Bangkok Pat was in. I didn't want to end at 9:30 and cut the flow, as they say. I wanted it to continue, so I've now been going, 2.5 hours. There will be a regular member stream when it's scheduled for the next time. Look, to the guys who gave the super chats, thanks very much. I always say the same thing, but I do appreciate it. And I hope you're enjoying the videos from Hua Hin down here. If there's anything you'd like to see me make, drop it in the comments and I will consider it. If it sounds interesting, I'll go out and make a video on that. It's been a good one, 2.5 hours. I'm getting tired now, so I've got to jack it in. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget the volume's quite loud on this outgoing music because I made it years ago and I didn't know what I was doing. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you for another live stream. Don't forget Saturday, a week yesterday, I'll be live streaming at what time did I do it? 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Thai time next Saturday. That's a week from yesterday. Okay. Thanks again, and catch up soon.